Talk Podcast. For the next 2 hours, we will bring you the latest pro wrestling news, in-depth analysis of all your favorite promotions from across the globe, and much, much more. We will also bring you exclusive interviews with the greatest professional wrestling personalities on the local, national, and international levels. If you want to follow the Wrestle Talk Podcast, check us out online at www.wrestletalkpodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And now, it's time for the reigning, defending, undisputed leader in pro wrestling podcast, the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Que pasa, loyal members of the Wrestle Talk family. Your boy, the Night Owl, checking in live right here from the heartland of the good old US of A, Kansas City. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I am not cruising alone. Oh, no, I am not cruising alone, because guess what? A man of class, elegance, prestige, and wealth. Yes, I am contractually obligated to say all these things. The one and only Dick Douglas, ladies and gentlemen, is going to join me as the co-host for tonight's episode 370. No, not 70, but 380. And guess what, bro? It's been such a crazy time that I didn't even get a chance to update the board. I think I'm going to do that. Dick Douglas, bro, drop me some info, baby. How the hell you been? Where the hell were you last time you were scheduled to be here and host with me, because you were MIA?
How's my feed here? First of all, we're here in my team's production studio. I'm a little slow. Is that the case?
No, well, you're fine. I sound like Darth Vader.
That's what that
it's crazy. Okay. It's still better than my original voice.
So the reason I was gone is because we were setting up the City on the Hill .org/shop. That's where you can find all the latest and greatest Dick Douglas merchandise. So we had a meeting to get the best distributor possible for that content, and we were getting ready for IWAP in Mount Vernon. And with all of it going on, we decided that it would be too much to try to get an internet connection going in, a town car or wherever we were at, trying to go back and forth. So for the sake of it, just being the sake of it, we didn't want to put you guys under distress, Renee, and have one co-host in, one co-host out. So for the first time ever, Jeremy did an okay job filling in, and
no, he did a great job. He did a great job.
He did.
Well, I will say this. I'm not usually a fan of people like calling off on their second day of work, but I guess you have those personal days for a reason. So now tell me about the website real quick. What kind of stuff are you selling? You got merchandise now?
Our team did a good job with this merchandise. We came up with a great slogan. We sell shirts, jewelry, fine bracelets, sterling silver and all the real stuff, the real gold and all of that. And then we do flip-flops, beanbag chair covers, aprons, the whole 9 yards. And the slogan this year for the 2022 campaign is "I need Dick Douglas to save."
You're a sick man.
I didn't do it. That's what I tell people. It wasn't me. It was a team of people that came up with a great slogan, and I am embracing it. And they're right. They need Dick Douglas, and that's exactly what we're doing this year. So www.thecityonthehill.org/shop. You can get it today. And Renee, I hope to see that my resales reports that Wrestle Talk Podcast bought 50, because my website, Renee, since we've launched, apparently what we're hearing is 1,000% increase every day. Every day. It's been massive. And we're very happy about it. So thank you for asking.
So you got to do me a favor and tell me, what exactly is your demographic? Who's buying this stuff? I mean, no disrespect, but I've seen your social media pages, and you get some feedback, but it's mostly negative. I'm going to be honest.
So, the real fans of professional wrestling. I think it's pretty clear what our demographic is. You look at time and time again, the true fans like yourself, I'd even lump you in, Renee, been forgotten by mainstream wrestling
Fans.
because they're catering to indie fans. They're catering to these psychopaths almost that follow these people and stalk wrestlers. And it's time to save professional wrestling from these terrible people. So the ones that are buying it, every gender, every race, they love Dick Douglas. They love the City on the Hill movement, and I love them. It's quite simple.
And you said your slogan is what again?
I need Dick Douglas to save professional wrestling.
You gotta relax with this. Okay, I don't know how you keep a straight face. I'm gonna get my audio thing fixed so nobody stress out. It's all good in the hood. It does sound kind of cool to sound like this. I feel like I'm like on some Barry White stuff over here. It's pretty dope. But listen, while I do that, do me a favor because I know you've been doing your homework. And why don't you go ahead and update everybody on our wonderful sponsors, Mr. Douglas? Are you okay with doing that for us?
Is that part of my? I'd always be glad to talk about our sponsors. Just give me 2 seconds because I wasn't prepared. Now I got to find the document, Renee. Okay. I know. Shame on Dick.
They're literally on the screen. All you have to do is look.
Royal Mills Transportation, a great sponsor, great friend of the show. Painter's Dreams Productions, they do a great work. Rathlon Engraving, Mi Fiesta Rentals, another great sponsor. Nobleman Barbershop or Barber Lounge. Ask for Pete the Barber, and of course, the FWWC. Renee, am I missing anybody? I don't think I am. Oh, Everything Combat, of course, and obviously Kincaid Arcade. One of my favorite sponsors. I love the merchandise. Esports Bar KC and Jeremy Karp's Interstate 70 Sports Media, along with Royal Mills, Renee. Great.
Royal Mills Transportation, not a bad deal there. I know it's hard for you because you've got so many other things going on, but man, if it wasn't for those sponsors, the show would not be what it is today.
I thought I had a
There's no question
of it somewhere. That's why I was looking on my phone. It wasn't, totally. I like I said, I really enjoy our sponsors, especially I've been following Kincaid Arcade's story, and man, the growth there and with all of our sponsors and friends has been great. Renee, are you fixing that sign yet?
Yeah, I'm almost done. I just got to finish putting the I.
Oh God, you are on
HGTV. Mr. Curtis. Now, here's the funny thing. Like, I know that Mr. Curtis is going to be somebody that you're going to enjoy. He's a very dapper dressing individual, much like yourself. The difference is this man has a great deal of integrity, and he also has a huge responsibility as the commissioner of XWE over in Salina, Kansas. There we go. How's that look? Does that look okay? Does that look all right? Sort of? Kind of? Is that almost average?
Almost
That's
average
bad,
is
right?
fair.
Almost average? I'll take it. I'll take it. So here's the thing. Today's show is going to be special for a lot of different reasons. Number one, and this was unintentional, as you guys all know, today is the first day of Black History Month. So we're going to feature a lot of different people during this month that have some sort of connection with the African-American community. It won't always be every guest, but you'll see a good amount of it during the month of February. Dick, I know you employ many, many people, okay? Mexican folk, African-American folk. Talk to us a little bit about what it's been for you, the influence that the African-American community has had in your business life and your pro wrestling life. I'm curious.
A huge impact, when it comes to professional wrestling. You look at all the great people of color that, WWF, WWE, WCW, it doesn't matter. The cultural roots are very deep in professional wrestling and very deep in the culture of this country, Renee. And it's a great time to celebrate and look back and remember some legacy builders and continue their legacy and continue remembering them.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, for me, brother, it really comes down to like my original influences, the people that I fell in love with growing up. And I was going to actually ask you that question because I know for me, Farouk, The Rock, amongst a few others, were big influences for me early on as a pro wrestling fan. what African American wrestlers made a big impact in your life coming up?
Booker T, especially, big
Yeah,
influence
sure.
of mine. You look, R-Truth, huge influence to me. Especially with his work in TNA, and just countless others that Biggie, especially too. You can throw him in there, and just for me and the younger generation, definitely those figures, and then so many more. I mean, if it would take almost an episode in itself to go through and dissect all of the legacy builders.
Well, you'll be happy to know that this evening we've actually got 3 African American gentlemen that are going to be joining us. Mike, you from the Mike and You podcast. Now, these guys, and you may not know a lot about these guys there, Dick, but these guys are pro wrestling fanatics who also have a passion for football. So they have a football podcast, but they always sprinkle in the wrestling references, man. I've been a fan of theirs for a long time. I was like, you know what, guys, you know enough about wrestling. Come on, join us. And then in the second hour, like I was saying before, man, you want to talk about Illustrious, a guy that's got a lot of responsibilities. The KWA is the alliance to be had in the state of Kansas. And, for Mr. Curtis to be one of the major voices within XWE and the KWA, somebody that we definitely want to hear from, especially since we've got another show right around the corner. There's been quite a bit of controversy. Dick, you'll maybe enjoy this. Maybe you'll kind of be on my side. I was bullied at the last XWE show. We're going to get into that story a little bit later. Okay, these guys the Empire try to come over and intimidate me. I'll go over that whole story when Mr. Curtis is here, but I want to hear kind of what he thinks and how he plans on handling the Empire, bro, because it's one thing I don't like, bro, is bullies. I don't like them. And to be honest with you, I could be rid of them sooner rather than later.
I'm not trying to pick on you, even though you're talking about bullies. But it's pretty funny because your voice. I'm just so used to hearing Renee, and right now,
I'm better now. I still have the big.
They
voice.
still have the big voice. It's awesome. It's awesome. I'm not trying to.
I'm screwed over here, bro.
Oh wait, it sounded better there. That was.
Well, it's because I said I'm screwed over here, bro.
No, that's perfect.
That's why.
That's perfect.
What? Are we good?
We're good. It sounds better.
Are you sure?
Almost. It was almost perfect.
Dang it, man! Stop playing with me,
bro. It's like
coming
in and out. It sounds so much better. But
I think I'm gonna have to leave and come back. So we'll do that as we get going here in a moment during the high spot segment.
Yeah.
But we've got some business to handle because the tradition must continue here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. And what is that tradition? The tradition is that no matter what we're going to do on the show, we've always got to give some love to the greatest country on God's green earth. So do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, respectfully remove your caps, place your hands over your hearts as we do just that. Pay homage to the greatest country on God's green earth, and that's America, damn it. Let's get that Roseanne rolling, baby. With that shit. Thank you. I think Roseanne.
What a nasty woman.
Wow. Well,
yeah. What a nasty woman.
I'm pretty sure I know whose side you were on in that beef that she had with Trump years ago, but we won't get into that here tonight. We
Great
won't.
Guy.
For the sake of viewership.
Yeah, well,
all right. Go ahead.
No. I was waiting for you. It's your ship. No,
I
was
thought
just
no, it's
throw
our
out there
show.
that it's a fighter for democracy and a fighter for liberation and against totalitarianism. To have Roseanne desecrate our beloved anthem there was just sickening, and that's why her show got canceled. Oh wait, no, it's because she took too many sleeping pills that day, is what she told us all.
I hate to agree with you, but got him. Got him.
And that's how we start today's show.
Wow. All right. So, guys, you know how this goes. We're going to keep the action going here tonight, baby, because guess what? We've got all sorts of professional wrestling topics. I sound like Barry White, and I'm kind of starting to like it. So, ladies and gentlemen, join us as we get into episode 380th version of the Wrestle Talk podcast High Spot segment. Go ahead and hit that music.
Mic check, mic check. Yeah. All right. Wrestle Talk podcast. DJ Money. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to High Spots, where we pop news like lamb chops. We talk shop, coming through the screens of a laptop, and non-stop like a runner speakers of blacktop. We hit hard like chair shots and backdrops, like a spark flash, feel like a barely flop. Now that's hard, yeah. Now they know we about to start the show.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The High Spot segment has begun. I will continue to work to try to sort out this audio issue, but if you can hear me clearly, I'm actually cool with the bass, bro. Can we make it work? I think we can make it work.
Oh yeah, no, hey, whatever. It's like I said, I'm the vice president in this situation.
The vice president. Okay. Some humility. I'm somewhat unexpected. I don't know how to deal with you when you're being humble. It's out of character.
Here's something that's pretty cool. I'm getting confirmation, but I'm pretty sure. So on Saturday, Renee, I was in Mount Vernon.
Okay.
And had a team up with Chris K. Didn't have to, but we chose to. We put our differences aside for the sake of spearheading democracy. After IWAP, with the help of Richard Douglas and Chris Cade, was free of tyranny. And what happened was we tagged.
You mean tyranny?
Well, it depends on where you're from. And, we got there and we tag teamed and we won. We should have won. It was for the title. But during that, I had the opportunity to help and support and, stand behind in a way a young girl from the Belladonna division who was the first ever champion, who was at Cody Rhodes School, the Nightmare Factory. So didn't even know that until after it happened. So it's pretty cool to see a Rhodes, a Nightmare Factory student being led. I think supported pretty well and cheered on. I did help in a way of morally. Obviously, I wouldn't get in the ring and interfere. But she won the title.
You never.
And she's very good. She's been on Dark a couple of times, and it was just phenomenal. But how is your high spots going for you?
Well, my high spots is going pretty great, and let me tell you why it's so great. Because if we're gonna kind of like brag a little bit about all the stuff we've got going on in pro wrestling, I've got something worth bragging about, and it's not really my style. But if it gives me the opportunity to put over a company, I'm going to do it. So if you could bring your attention, my dear friend, to the video image that is going to be displayed on your screen here momentarily.
With the inflection, that was sexy. That was sexy, yes, with the inflection.
I sound so evil. I love it.
Look at that.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I don't have a breaking news drop. My audio is the shits today, but what I can tell you is that on February 5th, we are debuting a new company, UUCW, baby. You heard it here yourself last week. Adam Pena, the head man in charge, was here. And he talked to Skywalker and he talked to Sunny Money and he told us all about this incredible event at Temple Live in Wichita, Kansas. And guess what? Yours truly, Renee the Night Owl Martinez, will be on commentary. Bro, this is going to be more of a PG-13 towards R type show. So I'm going to get to cut it loose a little bit more than I usually do, alongside another illustrious individual, the one and only Kenny Zombie Jones. Bro, You saw the poster. You heard Adam Pena and the boys last week. What do you think about that, man? You got to be proud.
I
of me,
am.
right?
I am proud of you. You know who made the poster? Do you know?
I don't know. It was one of Adam's guys, I'm sure. I have no idea.
I hope he paid them double because they did a great job to you. You know, I'm very proud of it. I think you're going to do a great job. You know, you on commentary is always good. You with Rusty Rex, right? And I heard it last week, and I was proud of you then. I'm proud of you now, and know you're going to kick ass. And if you let us down, don't come back. You know, so.
What? No pressure, right? No pressure, baby. Well, thanks a lot. Guys, listen, I feel, and I got to go with the comments section, which we're already above 65 comments early on in today's show. Somebody says I sound like Bruce Wayne. I'm like, hey.
No, you're Barry White's right on. I mean, that is, when you inflected at the end of that for your video graphic or your graphic app was just Barry White.
Can't get enough of your little baby. My singing's so terrible, I know we're not going to get flagged for that. So, anywho, let's get into some pro wrestling topics because we're just a couple of minutes away of our first guest joining us. And we're going to cover this weekend's festivities / shenanigans extensively with them. But something else I wanted to ask you specifically, Mr. Douglas. And we had a lot of teasing, is what I'll call it, going into this past weekend's WWE Royal Rumble. We saw Cody Rhodes post a picture flying over St. Louis and a few others. I'm curious, man, is this a healthy thing or is it more trolling and an unhealthy overall for the business when you see this kind of egging on and kind of jabbing that we've seen mostly from AEW towards WWE?
That actually is the greatest question you've ever asked me, and I was going to talk about it today in Shoot and Shop. We'll talk about it now. I think it's fantastic. The more of this, the better. Even though, and let's be honest, any fan with a brain should probably think and know not going to happen. But the fact that you have another company talking about the Royal Rumble is huge. But when you have these fans that are whiners, I mean, complete whiners that sit there and go, oh, they shouldn't do that because they're going to let people down. I mean, it's an absolute joke. It's a detrimental factor to our industry. And it's great to know that wrestlers and other companies, they're still fans of a product. They still know about a product. And, Sonny's right. Who wants dick? Everyone wants dick. You can tell. I mean, the masses are starting to get behind this. And it's because of people like the ones that were whining about, Cody Rhodes tease, the CM Punk picture. It's those whiners. It's those losers that are propelling this movement. Because if we had Renee, an industry where it was so cut and dry like we've had since, 2015 to at least 2017, you saw what happened. It almost killed professional wrestling. So do we want to go back to that or do we want to have fun a little bit? It's not that difficult. Renee, are you alive? Okay. Now we get to watch Dick Douglas rant more. You see time and time again, all these people do, like Susie Haas, great fan of professional wrestling, but what does she do? She whines about Dick Douglas, and sometimes it hurts people. I'm just saying. But you have situations like that are detrimental. I want to talk to you guys about the fact that Brock Lesnar. Oh, thank you, Susie. I appreciate the fames behind you. Hey, where'd you go? You just
listen, I'm trying to fix the audio thing. I told you I was going to try to fix the audio thing. Does it sound like I fixed the audio thing?
No, you completely
exactly. Jeez Louise. Oh, well, as I can see, you're continuing to ingratiate yourself with the fans here when I step away for 1 minute.
Well, see, I was just making sure you were still alive. I knew if I started turning on the fans, you would jump back in and save the day for them, and you'd start, hitting me around a little bit. But I'm glad. If you want me to, I can go into just something I wanted to talk about that you were a little fired up about, I think. But what do you think about these whiners? These honestly, they're degenerates. That's all they are. They're deplorable degenerates in this industry.
Listen, I think to a certain extent we need that energy, right? Because if we're not being chastised and criticized, I don't think we're going to be as likely to try to improve, to get better, to do what most professionals do, which is take that criticism, flip it upside down, and make something of it. Okay. So criticism can be a good thing. Is it better when it's constructive than when it's derogative? Absolutely. But hey, if you don't have a thin skin, for the most part, even if it is derogatory, you can flip that and turn it into motivation.
That's fair to an extent, but when you just start letting these whiners get away with things and making change that shouldn't have happened, I mean, that's when it's a problem, and that's when you got to start interfering a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, when you say that, bro, and you talk about whiners, the first thing that comes to my mind every single time is CM Punk. I mean, it wasn't too long ago, actually this morning, when I was listening to CM Punk running his mouth about everything that happened when he got let go from the WWE. And to be sincere, bro, it gets old, it gets tired. And these are the guys that are getting all the love and adulation. Everyone loves CM Punk, and all he does is bitch and complain. I'm sorry, but it's the truth.
Because all the fans, all they do is bitch and complain. It's what we're campaigning against, Renee. We're on the same page here. I mean, that's exactly what I've been saying for a year now. All these fans do is bitch and moan, and then they find somebody else who bitches and moans a little bit louder, so they buy their T-shirt. That's exactly what happens.
Dude, that's it. And listen, I went back, like I said, I was just watching stuff earlier today and listen to CM Punk go on for 12 minutes about how he felt he should have been in WrestleMania and Hunter and him and Undertaker, and he didn't feel like that was worthy of his time. And I'm like, bro, Undertaker's not worthy of your. Wait a minute, Dick Richards. Oh, dear God. So we got
Double Dick
Douglas and Dick Dix all on the show at the same time. Come on, man. I can only tolerate one of you asswipes at the same time.
Oh, whoa.
No, I'm sick. No, seriously. These audio issues got me on edge, bro. I'm sick of this. This is one of the guys that participated in the bullying. It's not right. I'm telling you right now.
Oh.
It's not funny, bro.
See, but Renee, whenever you have a dark night, you can have a brighter tomorrow with perseverance, without whining about somebody picking on you a little bit. And it was probably deserved. I've seen what you say under your breath to certain people, and I told you eventually somebody would step up to you, and look what happened. Look what happened.
Well, we'll get into more detail about that here in a few minutes. Well, actually, in a second now.
Okay. But can I talk to you about my high spots topic real quick, if that's okay?
Yeah, let's go ahead. And you know what? Right after you introduce the topic, we'll introduce our 2 first-hour guests, and we'll get their thoughts on it. How's that sound?
Perfecto. So here's exactly so this is what I wanted to get your feedback on. Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble. I obviously couldn't watch it. I actually donated my seats and some of the things that we were going to do to some lucky younger fans, and I think it was great for us to do so. But Brock Lesnar reportedly wasn't supposed to win the Royal Rumble. It was supposed to be Matt Riddle, allegedly, because we all know these dirt sheet reporters that are in their mom's basement somewhere, playing on the PS2, and they get these ideas, and then one of them sticks, and it actually happened, and then people start believing them. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it was absolutely true.
I do.
But no, officer, I haven't been drinking. Oh, sorry, I saw the flashlight and I was.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm looking around for you to make a decent point. I'm like, hello, is it? Come on, man. Give it to me.
Whenever we're on committee meetings, I feel like I do have a flashlight shining in my eyes. But no, so Brock Lesnar winning, I think it's great for what they're doing. At least they're finishing a story, finally. They're going to do the third match. We're going to get done with the charade, and we can hopefully move on to brighter pastures. But what do you think about this? Do you think it's detrimental to take that away from Matt Riddle? If it's true,
no.
Okay.
I really don't, bro, because he's been on fire.
You know what I think, too?
Important. And what I don't like, though, is the fact that you had this golden opportunity to put Randy over and in St. Louis, and it would have been an automatic roof blown off the place, and they could have done it in a couple of different ways.
You heard the crap for the
Dude, they don't even have the tag belts anymore. He could have turned on Riddle right there. Boom. That would have been incredible. They could have had him versus Kevin Owens at the end. Owens hits him with the stunner. boom, or misses the stunner. Randy catches with the RKO in a creative way, kind of like vis-a-vis that Seth Rollins spot from a few years ago at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens can do all that stuff, just like Seth. So I think they missed the golden opportunity.
Before we go any further, I got to get your opinion just on this hot take. Did you lose a little bit of respect for Matt Riddle as a man when Brock Lesnar manhandled him like a child?
No, because who hasn't he done that to?
But he jumped on him and he caught Matt Riddle.
He did it to Lashley, bro. He literally picked up Lashley and threw him.
But he caught Matt Riddle with one arm. I mean, could you go back in the ring after that? Hello, Randy.
Yeah, they keep cutting that check. I'm going back in that ring. I promise you I am. I don't give it. Well, anyway, let's not get too far into this conversation because we do have a couple of illustrious guests in the first hour, and we have just one more, I should say, in the second hour. So, I'm a fan of a lot of people and a lot of things, but what I like are people that are original. And our upcoming guests are two guys that are original. Their takes, their show, their energy on Twitter. There's nobody like them. And if there's no other reason that I wanted to have these guys on the show, because I'm a fan of them and they happen to like pro wrestling as well. Once you guys get these guys' energy and see how they go back and forth with each other, reminds me a lot of you and myself there, Mr. Douglas. We have strong opinions. We can go back and forth about it, but at the end of the day, we know how to move on to the next thing. That's exactly what the mic and you bring to the table. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, help me in welcoming in for the very first time them boys from the Mike and You podcast, the Mike and You.
What is going on, gents?
Hey.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
What's up?
Hey, do I sound like Darth Vader?
Nah, you sound great to me.
I
finally get to be on the GOAT show.
But we're about to kick you off because you didn't do landscape mode on your camera. You got the up and down.
Renee, back
I'm
off.
not no technology guy.
No,
well, don't nobody want to stare up your.
And that's the thing.
Look up this man's nose.
He's definitely not a technology guy.
It's like, okay. Mike said, I don't want people looking up my nose. Oh man. So, guys, great to have you here. You guys heard a little bit of the conversation of myself and Mr. Douglas there we're having. Let's get right into it. We'll start now and then we'll work backwards as far as how y'all started the podcast and all that, and when you became wrestling fans. But at the moment, let's start with you. Bro, what did you think about the Royal Rumble? What are your takeaways, both good and bad? Drop it on us.
Man, the Royal Rumble was a lot to obviously the Royal Rumble is something that is just huge and momentous, and I think they brought it this year. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't watch at that moment, but I did go back and look at it, and it was they brought the energy, and I love the energy. But how would you expect the Royal Rumble to end up anyway? They figure it out. They definitely figure it out.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I know that the Royal Rumble is an event that most fans look forward to. Before we move on to the mic, did you have a favorite going into the Royal Rumble? From what you saw, was there somebody that you were like, yeah, I think this dude's got a chance? Was it one of the younger guys or one of the more OG dudes?
Man, it's always going to be the OGs for me. For me,
all right,
because I want to say I'm an OG fan, but I mean, because I do the 90s. I'm a big 90s wrestling guy. And my father...
Same.
My father was a huge 80s and 70s guy. He has videotapes of Larry Zbyszko and Dusty Rhodes and guys like that. So it just made me appreciate the older stuff. And I like the newer stuff. I follow it, but it's not... I enjoy the Attitude Era of wrestling.
Yeah, and I don't think there'll ever be anything quite like it.
Yeah, it makes me it makes me enjoy the OGs. So
bet. I appreciate that, Mike. Same question to you, man. You saw the Rumble. Give me your positive takeaways and your negative takeaways right off the bat.
The negative one was Kofi getting eliminated so early. But my pot.
Wait. Yeah, we're not gonna let you just slide right past that one. Hold on now. I thought Black Lives Matter. Now all of a sudden you're shitting on Kofi.
No,
What's wrong with you, my guy? What happened? I thought we were supposed to stick together.
I said that was the bad moment for me.
Okay. I was about to say because you was laughing when you said it. That's what I saw.
Because he got eliminated so quickly.
Oh, bro.
But another one was Brock Lesnar winning. I'm a guy that likes to have actual person that nobody thinks win. But I understand that you got to get the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar match finally happen. I get that.
Finally, bro, isn't this like number 6? What are you talking about? They fight every week.
I'm talking about.
It's like me and my little cousins.
I'm talking about like the ending of it. Like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, close the book
Yeah,
on
close
it.
the book on it. They have to. Because remember, Roman got COVID when they were supposed to fight at the other pay-per-view. So I would have, and I'm sick of these Bad Bunnies and Johnny Knoxville being in a Rumble.
Whoa!
Hey!
Whoa!
I am sick of that.
Hey,
I enjoy
what
the
are
Johnny
you-
Knoxville situation.
Can I interject real quick?
Yes, please.
We broke the story of Knoxville being in the Rumble. No one ever wants to give us credit. We were the first ones that reported on it. We really were. Before the dirt sheets picked up the article and ran with it, we reported on it. And the pop was dull. And he's getting old. I mean, he's got to he's got to do drugs or drink again because he's looking old. He's got to get younger.
So why? I'm just saying, you could have put somebody else in that position.
Exactly.
No, they couldn't. Listen, here's what y'all are missing. Their roster's so thin that they gotta bring in these people to do these spots. Now, I will now allow the blasphemy of you putting Bad Bunny and Johnny Knoxville in the same conversation because one of the guys can actually wrestle.
Hell no.
That boy hit a Canadian.
Hell no.
That man hit the Puerto Rican destroyer, son, right in front of everybody. 45,000 in a loo.
Okay,
Are you kidding me?
It was probably 32 because WWE rounds up by 12. But
You
Bad
are
Bunny, Matt Riddle jumped. Matt
This
Riddle
guy.
jumped higher than anything I've ever seen. He jumped higher than Snoop Dogg on a
Higher?
Friday night.
I believe that.
He did. He jumped higher than Snoop Dogg on Friday. He jumped so high up in the air, Bad Bunny he almost landed on his feet. That's how high Matt Riddle jumped. I mean, come on, man. Bad Bunny might be good with auto-tune, but in the ring, -5 stars.
Wow.
Then Shane McMahon came back.
I've never been a fan of Shane. I'm sorry.
Oh, boy. Okay. All right. So, next question to you both. Talk about your podcast because I listen. You guys do football, and we can get into a little football here as well. We're all football fans. But every once in a while, especially you, Mike, you'll throw in wrestling references. And I know that I recognize and catch all of them. I don't know if all your callers do, which you always have a ton of callers. Bravo. Interaction is king. But, bro, I remember seeing you for the first time at the NWL show. So take me back to NWL, how the hell you ended up there, and how it is now that y'all kind of brought this thing together for the Mike and You podcast. Drop it on me.
Well, me and my boy Cameron that I work with, with the dreads.
My man with the dreads? Yeah, shout out to Cam.
He was like, let's go to this wrestling match. And we was like, cool. And the funny thing is, I think it was the first show. And Alex Smith was there. And we were like, damn, that look like Alex Smith.
That's my quarterback.
Then we talked to him or whatever. Then you showed up. And you, honestly, no lie, you made me want to get in the podcast because you was interviewing us on the steps. And, I thought that was cool. But that's how I got to NWL because, my first American hometown is Memphis, right? So I used to...
What a great town.
I used to always go to the shows where Jerry the King Lawler, Billy Dundee, Midnight Express, the Rock and Roll Express. They all wrestle there like every Saturday morning, local TV. And you can go down there and watch. Remember Kabuki? and
Of course,
Kabbalah.
bro.
Yeah, they was always down there as well. So that's how I fell in love with wrestling, because in Memphis, wrestling is it.
Well, I got something for you, bro. I got a couple of books I could recommend about the Memphis era, like Jerry the King Lawler and some of those guys. And then I got a bunch of stuff on Kentucky wrestling as well. So if you love like Southern wrestling, dude, I got you on some books. We know a couple of authors that small, easy, fun reads that you would love, bro. If you love that old school shit, it's like best stuff.
I got a quick question. Could you
you got?
confirm Hulk Hogan's story that Elvis came and watched him wrestle down in Memphis? Because I'm pretty sure Elvis was dead. I just wanted to ask somebody that was there and experienced it.
What do you mean, brother?
I hated Hulk Hogan until he became a bad guy with Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah,
that's when I liked him.
Yes.
So you liked Hogan?
Yeah.
What?
I hated
Yes.
him.
So wait, so you hated Hogan until he went heel?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, come on, man.
Man.
No yellow and
No.
orange,
Piss on
yellow
that.
red. Come on,
That's-
bro.
Come on. That's
All right.
That's a patronizing character as Hulk Hogan's good guy stuff.
It was like,
Oh,
I
you guys gotta
love hearing
relax.
that. I love hearing that. The patronizing thing. It's
All you guys.
But how
turning
popular-
heel.
Y'all were
was the
eating that
best.
up when you were 7 years old, though, man. Come on, y'all can't. All right, you know what? I gotta inject some civility and some reason into this conversation. And I know this dude that I'm about to bring on to join us is gonna be ready to rail on y'all disrespecting Hulk freaking Hogan, because there's nobody that's. I am a real American.
Oh my God.
Fight for the rights of every man. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Sonny Money Mayo. My guy, co-host of the Wrestle Talk Pod. Welcome, man.
going
Welcome in,
on?
my guy.
What's up?
I haven't seen you in a minute, Sonny.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. I used to love going to NWL shows and chopping it up with all the regulars in there. And the mic was definitely a regular NWL, bro. And I made sure every show I went to, I stopped. I said hello. I said, screw the Patriots, screw New England, because you were always rocking
What?
it here, bro.
Here we go.
So, hey, man.
You got it. You got it.
But it's nothing but love. You, what's up, man? It's very nice to
What's
meet
going
you. finally,
on?
man.
Good to meet
I'm a
you,
big
boss.
fan of the podcast. Night
Thanks,
Out,
man.
Dick Douglas, you guys are killing it already, man. So thank you guys for bringing me on. I want to switch it up here real quick, and I promise to keep this short, simple.
No, but you gotta address the Hogan thing. Hold on now. Before you drop your thing, it's cool. You do you. You're a host here. You know it's all love. But these guys, these Brady Bunch looking guys around me, talking about they didn't like Hogan until he went heel. Come on, bro. Who didn't like the yellow and red Hogan? You guys are lying to yourselves. You guys were eating your vitamins and saying your prayers, and you're just afraid to admit it. All of you.
I still say my prayers, not because of Hogan.
Let me break it down for y'all like this.
All right, go.
Better than Austin, better than Cena, better than Shawn Michaels, better than Bret Hart.
Oh
Better
my
than Ric
God.
Flair.
Bret Hart, bro.
Than Ric Flair.
Bret Hart, bro.
Wow.
What are you basing it on?
And a lot of Hulkamaniacs in this world, brother. I'll start getting hulked up now. Hulk Hogan.
What are you
is
growing
the
in that closet behind you?
wrestler of all time. And you ain't telling Money Mayo no different. No different.
No.
Yo.
No.
What you know what I find interesting? My man said that Hogan is better than Flair, and somebody straight up laughed.
That was me.
Hey,
That was
Come on,
Come on.
I would
come
open
on.
You do-
If
What
it
are
wasn't
you
for Hulk Hogan,
basing
we
it
wouldn't
on?
be where we are at today, okay? I promise you that. I promise you that.
Just because he's a pioneer doesn't mean he's the guy. Like, I know he was supposed to be, but nah, not for me. Not until he
Just
turned
because
heel.
he's old
Absolutely.
and wrestled in the heyday doesn't mean he's the guy either, you know?
Bro, but did y'all ever see his tapes from Japan? The man just wasn't given the
He
opportunity to
wrestled Muda
wrestle.
once, and we all supposed to cheer him. We've all
Did you see what he did though?
Oh, so I did that in
My
training.
man could do
when
a
I was
Hurricane
stretching.
Rana. He could do all kinds of
I did
shit.
that in training when I was stretching.
You're so disrespectful.
But you ain't 6'8" and 360 or 280 or 300 pounds doing that, Dick Douglas.
That's
42-inch
Now, that's
pythons,
very
brother.
true. I'll give you that.
I'm just waiting on
his
Cena to
vitamins.
turn heel.
That's
Hey,
true.
That ain't never gonna happen, cuz.
I thought it would happen at one point, but it never did. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess it won't happen.
Quick story before we go on. You know, whenever Hulk Hogan was saying his first prayer, you know what God said to him? He said, D-ball is a vitamin, Hulk Hogan. Take a D-ball. And that's what happened. I mean,
Wow, bro.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, well, there goes our PG-13 rating. Appreciate you there, Mr. Douglas.
Out the window.
All right,
Let me ask you a question,
Sonny,
Night Owl.
Go ahead, Mike.
It's off topic, but let me ask you. Why you hate my boy Mr. Trubisky?
Because everybody hates him.
Oh, come on. Here we go with this stuff, bro.
Come on,
Is
man.
it time for break yet? Come on, man. Y'all can't do this to me. We can't do this right now.
Let me switch it up here and let me speak my piece. I've had something that's been burning for me to get out. I almost did a live video on Sonny Money Mayo's Facebook page. I didn't. I wanted to save it for Wrestle Talk podcast. This has been it's been dying to get out here. So let me have my 5 minutes, and I'm going to get back to this great interview, listening in the comment section, sharing YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and all the other platforms, Wrestle Talk Podcast, every Tuesday. I've been looking forward to hearing Mike and you on here, but I got to get this out. Okay, so the most popular topic in professional wrestling since Saturday evening has been the Royal Rumble event itself, okay? Now, maybe it's me, maybe it's not. But from what I have seen, this has been the most popular topic on the internet. I've seen so many fans on so many different pages and platforms talking about the Royal Rumble event. How some loved it, how some hated it, how some didn't want Bad Bunny in Knoxville, how some wanted Cesaro, how some wanted Kevin Owens to win, so on and so forth. But you know what? That is the beautiful thing about professional wrestling. It's a cup of coffee that has a different taste for everybody in this world. Some people love death matches. Some people love wrestling in Mexico. Some people love wrestling in Japan. Some love what Cena does every single night of the hitting the FU and the 5-knuckle shuffle and things for the kids. Wrestling is for everybody. But here's my thing, and this is something that I experienced. And Night Owl and Dick Douglas, this is something that you guys were talking about at the top of the podcast. I spoke my opinion on many different Facebook pages about the Royal Rumble event. And I'm going to have my opinion. I expect everybody to have their opinion. What I will not tolerate as a human being is someone telling me my opinion is wrong. And not just on professional wrestling, but on anything that I feel like talking about. Okay? Each and every human being, each and every person who lives in the United States of America has an opinion, is entitled to their opinion. And guess what? It's 2022. Most opinions are going to get put out on social media. So let me wrap this up here so I'm not keeping on going. For those out there with hateful comments and bullying comments towards me, I can take it. I'm a grown man. But how dare you do that to some 14-year-old kid or some fan who maybe doesn't have as much gusto as I do and can take those live rounds? I don't want to see anybody in this wrestling world, I don't want to see anybody in the world in 2022 saying that somebody's opinion is stupid or ignorant or anything along those lines, okay? This is what I had to get out. It was very frustrating for me. Again, some people loved the Rumble, some didn't. I personally didn't like it. If the next person liked it, then good for them. I will not sit there and tell them that their opinion is stupid, all right? So thank you so much, Night Out. Thank you so much, Dick Douglas. Mike and you, I'm sorry to get in the middle of your guys' podcast, but this is something that was been burning inside of me personally, and I wanted to get it out here on the Wrestle Talk podcast.
No, that was awesome. I first of all, I love the picture behind you too. The wrap that's a great picture.
Yep.
And you're right. Now I do have to say, with the exception of playing online games, these little shitheads that are 14 and 15 years old need to go. I mean, let's just be real. But I didn't mean not to make light of your singers. you're absolutely right. You know, it's one thing to jump down somebody's throat like myself because I won't see it, my team will. But you know, to do it to some kid that's really just having fun is pretty shitty too.
Yeah, man. You know, since AEW started, it's just I feel like it's been taking sides. Some people are WWE people and some people are AEW people. And I see so many people on social media say, well, you're stupid because you're a WWE fan, or you're stupid because you're an AEW fan. And to me, it should not be that way. We should all like what we like and coheres. And I'm not trying to sound like, you know, bring the world together and everything is love and peace. There's going to be hate in this world. You know what I mean? But when it comes to professional wrestling, what we're all here joining on this StreamYard podcast or Wrestle Talk podcast to talk about, there should be no negativity or hate or anything. Yeah, we're going to laugh that you guys think that I think Hogan is the best, but that's fine. You guys can laugh at me all you want, but it doesn't mean my opinion is wrong, and it doesn't mean your opinion is right as far as I'm concerned. Respectfully disagree is what I'm trying to get at here. You know what I mean? So that's it. That's it all for me, fellas. Again, I do appreciate the time. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to continue to listen and continue to jump in the comment section. Shout out to everybody out there in the comment section with me, Susie Hoss, Jay Hollywood, and everyone else in that comment section right now.
All right, Sonny. Hey, say goodbye, y'all. We're going to continue this interview without Sonny, bro.
You,
Much
Sonny.
love, bro. Great take.
All right, man.
Peace.
I do like the comment. Everybody gets an opinion unless you like Joey Janela. That's fair. I feel like that is fair. If you like that guy,
yes, I agree with that.
If you like that guy, you belong in the roller skating rink in the bathroom, you know, buying, you know, $5, you know, a G or something. I don't know. I just get out of here.
Jeez Louise. All right. Well, now that our podcast is no longer being sequestered by the Italian stallion, Sonny Money Mayo. No, listen, let me tell you something about this guy, man. If it wouldn't have been for him, and Mike, I know you'll be able to relate to this, I probably would have never gone to NWL. That dude took me to my first indie show, Metro Pro Wrestling, Turner Rec Center, KCK 2017.
And you made it out
so
alive?
Somebody baptized me. What would you say?
Made it out alive being in Kansas City, Kansas?
Come on now, bro. Look at me, bro. I fit right in, baby.
I mean,
this shaded brown fits everywhere, daddy.
Come on now.
We just all a different shade of tan, you dig me? It ain't shit. So, hey, that was a great show, by the way. I went to 2 shows that day, but that's another story for another day. So, that's my origin story. What's y'all's, like, origin story? Were you, like, video game kids? A lot of kids get turned into to wrestling fans because of video games. I know you were talking about your daddy. He had all the old tapes and stuff like that. What is, like, the original root that ties you guys back to wrestling, which you're still at least keeping up with today? What was that?
I mean, for me, like I said, my dad was all like super into it. When I say Larry Zbyszko, a lot of people don't know who that is that are just new fans. And I got a younger brother, and we broke a lot of mattresses doing the frog splash,
DDTs,
belly to back suplexes. Put a lot of holes in the wall from watching Monday Night Nitro and WWF Raw. That was back in the WWF days, so WWE. And we were pretty destructive in our house for a long time because of wrestling.
Well, that's dope to hear, man, because some people's passion for it doesn't start until a little bit later in life. What about you, Mike?
Like I said, you know, I was in Memphis, so my whole family kind of always went to the wrestling matches back then.
Oh, so you guys went?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a TV thing.
Yeah, it was on
wasn't
TV
a video game thing. You guys actually were going to those
we
shows?
was going to the actual.
What year are we talking about here? Just curious.
Like 80, 83, 84.
Wow, bro.
That's awesome.
It doesn't get
was
better
that when Coco Ware was still in the territory down there too?
He was going there.
Coco B.
And you know, then we moved up here like in 84, I think. Moved up to Kansas City. So been in Kansas City the rest of my life.
All right, so that makes me want to ask you another question. Being exposed to that great of wrestling so early in your life, has it made it harder for you to enjoy some of the not so great stuff that we see sometimes?
Today it's hard. Like, in my opinion,
All right.
the Attitude Era was the best. Like, when I was a kid, when I was down in Memphis, I just saw the live events and the choreograph. But then when you move somewhere like Kansas City, who has a rich tradition of wrestling, but I didn't get to see the Harley Race back then. You know what I mean? I didn't know. I really didn't understand who Harley Race was, and I used to bump into Rufus R. Jones because he used to have a spot on 18th.
Rufus, Kansas City guy too, baby.
And he used to have that little barbecue and bar place on like 18th and Vine.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people didn't know about. He had a little club, little bar thing.
My
over there
dad
by
knew.
the Negro Leagues Museum.
Yeah, my dad knew about that.
And the old Papa Lou's used to be over there too. That soul food restaurant.
I've been down there for some spoken word shows. Shout out to my man Theory.
Yeah. So, you know,
word,
and then
beautiful.
Attitude Era came in. Like, that was the best. Who didn't want to beat up their boss or teacher at the time? Like Stone Cold.
I do still sometimes.
All the time, man. All the time.
You know, and so, you know, I kept in touch with it. Then around about 2004 or 5, I kind of stopped liking it because it was changing. And The Rock was going in and out.
Yeah.
So that kind of... And I'm not really cool with the face Cena. I want the heel Cena.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. We were just, you know, we were discussing it just before. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think we're ever going to be fortunate enough to see him. See, they gave us a little bit when he dropped that video with the NWO shirt. Do y'all remember that? He kind of was like teasing that for a second, and then I was like, oh, man. Nah. Then he started doing the springboard stunner, and you were like, oh, maybe. But nope. They just sell too many t-shirts.
Who the hell is he to use the springboard stunner, by the way? Austin was pissed.
He was.
Yes,
I remember that.
I think he was more mad that it wasn't a finish.
It was a measly
than it actually being Cena who did it, you know, which makes sense.
Speaking of finishes, I hate how the super kick don't mean that much no more. I remember when Shawn Michaels used to do it, it ended you. But now
everyone does
it. It's just like a normal move now.
I was about to say, it's just normal. I mean, that's the thing about the old school. Like the 90s wrestling was all about big time, flashy moves. And then that's one of the reasons I wasn't a huge fan of Hulk Hogan back in the day. Like the leg drop, it just wasn't doing it for me. As a kid, as a 12-year-old kid, I was ready to see off the top rope, the frog splash from Eddie Guerrero, so forth and so on. And the figure four. I used to do that move on my brother and Dean Malenko, Man of 1,000 Holes, like all those kind of things. And just that wasn't enough for me back in the day.
All right, so I hear one of you guys was more of a WCW guy and the other was more of a WWF guy. Who's who?
I'm WWE.
I'm WCW for sure.
Oh, you said Dean Malenko.
I mean, I was about to say, you know. But
yeah, I don't get more WCW than that.
Absolutely. But I mean, we on Mondays and I want to say it was Thursdays at one point, we switched back and forth. Thursday Night Thunder. And then we just switched back and forth to the channels on Mondays because Raw was on and then Nitro was Monday Night Nitro, I think. So we would switch back and forth to the channels. It was pretty nice.
Oh, the wars. Now, did you guys buy in on the new wars when it was like AEW versus NXT? Did you guys get baited in by that? Because I get the sense that you guys watch wrestling, but maybe you're a little bit more casual than like guys like us that we're in the business, which is more than fair. Different levels to everything. But were you guys paying attention to that?
Yeah, I was watching AEW.
So you beat him out. Beat it out.
Here's the weird thing about it. I like the NXT better than I like the main shows of Raw and SmackDown.
I agree with that. What about the new NXT? You still feel the same way or no?
I ain't looked at it one time yet.
Black and gold, man. I miss it, bro. I got to be honest. What about you there, Mr. Douglas? I don't think we've ever gotten your take on this. Are you, like, during that time, were you more on the NXT side or the AEW side?
I was on the winning side, and that was everyone. Okay, I talked to my constituents so many times, and NXT Triple H tried, and look what it did to him. He's still recovering, and we hope him nothing but the best. But now his father-in-law has just ruined everything he's ever worked on. Okay, he might keep Shawn Michaels just out of pity for Triple H when he does come back, but that's it. Now it's just become a laughing stock. I mean, it's one thing when you're going to do studio wrestling the right way, okay? But when you just kind of half-ass it and you throw it in, who is Luke Justice? You throw it in, and then you just kind of hope for the best out of nowhere. And what does mid mean? That sounds very sexually driven, and I don't appreciate it on my show.
My God.
Oh my goodness.
You know, and I do what I do like though, because I do give compliment sandwiches. I don't appreciate Gunther. I don't know who was in charge of that just complete atrocity. But you know, good for them. I hope they like their 5 minutes at WWE because they're probably gone. But I do like Braun Breaker. I think that's probably the best and only thing they got going for them because they ruined Parker Bordeaux or whatever they're calling him now. So you know, good stuff.
Good stuff indeed. Well, listen, I've only got a couple of more questions, and we're going to get into shoot and shout. I can't wait to hear your guys' shoot and shout. I'll explain that here in just a minute. So let's talk about moving forward. Looks like the measures that we as Americans have been taking against COVID-19 and some of these things that we've been dealing with over the last 2 years are starting to show some success. We're making some progress. Are you guys, as wrestling fans, looking to get out to some more independent shows in 2022? Because that's important for me. That's important for Dick Douglas. We both work for independent wrestling promotions. So you guys, who at their essence, at its essence, you guys are just fans, right? More than anything else. Are you guys looking to get back out and check out some indie shows in 2022?
Yeah, I want to check out the GOAT, Jeremy Wyatt.
Oh, yeah, boy. Journey Pro Wrestling and also Dynamic Wrestling Federation are your go-to spots here in KC to see that guy. I don't blame you, bro. Straight up legend.
And I want to catch up with, Mike Outlaw and Camaro Jackson.
Bro, we should go to the Lou for Black Wrestlers Matter.
When is that?
Second week of February. I know we all got stuff, but that's a one-day trip.
Quick
I'll let
trip.
you, boy, if y'all want to do that. Bro, it's a one day. We go, watch the show, come back, or sleep, and then come back early the next day, be back in time for church. Back in time for church.
And then you go next month back to St. Louis to watch Dick Douglas back in action. So thank you, Renee. I'm glad you added that on.
Hey, then I could be probably a first-class citizen at the Renee, the Night Owl food take.
What you mean, bro? I'm on a diet. I don't know what you can't tell. No, I'm lying. No, seafood diet.
You know how you be going
you guys
the road,
know about the seafood diet?
Get a sandwich or something,
Yeah.
then you critique it.
Yeah, the reviews.
Yeah.
Yo, I swear I thought just me and my mom was watching those. I didn't know anybody else was watching that.
No, I've seen
Thank
it.
you, man.
I've definitely
You got
seen
me
them.
blushing over here, bro.
Man, I be jealous.
All right, cool. So y'all are definitely going back out to some independent wrestling sometime this year, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's some things in my family life is gonna be making it difficult for me. I haven't gotten back out like I want to yet, but
okay.
we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Hopefully, we get this under control and figure it out a little bit more, and then I can get out a little bit better.
Well, whenever that time comes, let us know, bro. I will tell you when, how, where to go. Shoot, you could even ride with me. How about that?
That sounds good.
All right, perfect. Last question for both of you guys, then we'll get into shoot and shout. Looking still towards the future. I don't know if y'all are gamers. Okay, I know Dick Douglas is too busy to play video games because he's fancy.
At least you got something.
But
right tonight.
Okay, see, I know my guy. WWE 2K22. Are you boys going to be giving that a try? And are we going to be hearing about it on the Mike and You podcast? Because I got to get a review if you guys are going to play it.
I have to wait to see if my nephew get it.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily a gamer, but I know that
right.
I haven't gotten the PS5 yet, but
It's coming on the 4 too.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I think I did hear that it was coming out on the 4th. So I'll
Yep.
give it. I'm giving it a try because I enjoy fighting games. I enjoy the wrestling games and the fighting games. So I'm going to give it a try, and we'll see what happens.
Well, all I'll say is based on the previews we've gotten,
Yeah,
it's looking pretty dope.
yeah.
We're gonna get a lot of legends. We're gonna get a GM mode. I think you get a couple of different Undertakers if you pre-order. No, we're not getting paid to pitch this thing, but I will tell you that it's been 2 years, right, Dick? It's been 2 years since we've gotten a WWE game. Am I wrong?
Well,
on
I
that?
wouldn't even call the last one a game. I'd call it an attempt. I mean, let's just be real here. And that was the biggest monstrosity to ever hit the industry. I mean, if that was the thing that could have killed pro wrestling, and it probably still will. What I'm worried about, Renee,
Probably still.
Are
you serious?
what I'm worried about more than anything, and guys, feel free to chime in. If you start hyping a game like this, I mean, we've seen trailers before where the graphics look amazing. Okay. But whenever the game comes, look, what's the Cyberpunk? I remember my team briefing me on that stupid game. Everyone waited 10 years. The graphics looked great. Every trailer was phenomenal. It comes out, and then people were beating their dogs at home. They're beating their kids because they waited 10 years for a game that was a dud. I hope the fans that have waited 2 years stick around to watch WWE if it fails, if the game fails. Because if the game fails and they leave, it'll be bankruptcy time. I mean, that's just, it's that bad.
Ooh. Well, they're gonna sucker me into those $70 for the.
And
PS5
that's the thing,
version,
$70 damn dollars.
They are.
I remember
That's the part I don't like. That's the part I don't
they're gonna
like.
get
But
me.
I
just be blaming it on my son. I be telling my son, I'm like, dude, if you don't get straight A's, neither one of us is getting this game. So you better get them damn.
I have a quick question.
Bust out my belt like you better get them A's.
I want to interject real quick.
It's research. It's what I do, So
Yes.
I need to research.
That's fair. I do want to ask this question because I want to get a football one in before we go into high spot or shoot and shout, if that's okay, because Sunny Money had a pretty good one. Mike, how do you feel about how do you feel about McDaniels leaving New England to become the Raiders coach? Can we get that on a screen next time? I can't read.
Oh, I'm happy. I hate McDaniels.
He does.
Joshua Eric McDaniels is a bum. I'm glad he's gone. That sucker's a bum.
That dude's on the same, and he's on the same diet I am.
And I hate
from what I
McCorkle
see.
Jones.
Stop it, Mike.
Here we
Stop.
go.
You that's your boy, and you know
I
it.
hate McCorkle Jones.
The Mac named Mike.
There's no Alabama quarterback that ever been good in the NFL.
The Mac named Mike. Anyway, Joshua McDaniels is good.
What are you talking about?
It's good that Josh McDaniels is going to the Raiders. They went from Chucky to now Josh McDaniels. That team's going down the tubes.
It's another 10 years of losing.
And I hate
that's how I
how
feel about it.
Renee called the podcast 816-654-6883. And I hate how he called it and talk good about the Bears, but always give crap about Mr. Trubisky when he was there.
First of all,
What are you talking about? I'm a Trubisky believer.
Mr.
First of
Trubisky.
all,
All right, give me
your
that
name
number
is
one more
Mike.
time.
816-654.
Wait. 816-654.
6883.
First of all, your name is the Mike, not Mike Jones. Can't be dropping random
Back
numbers.
then they didn't want me.
man.
Now I'm
Yeah.
hot. They all over.
Dropping your number on
And the
podcast.
podcast and the football podcast voicemail is open 24/7.
24/7. We play them all, unedited.
Yeah, it's equivalent to going in somebody's DMs. You just go in his VMs.
There we
for
go.
you
There we
younger
go.
folks. Ah!
There we go.
Don't encourage
All right,
that.
so I got
Don't
a football
encourage that
question.
sick pun. Get out.
I got a football question. Tom Brady,
The GOAT.
officially retires today. If you could identify one person in pro wrestling history that would be the Tom Brady of professional wrestling,
Ooh.
who would that be? I'll start with you,
It
Mike.
has to be Ric Flair.
That was
Woo!
the first name that came to my mind. I mean, other than maybe
would've-
Hulk Hogan.
In my opinion, it
Maybe.
would have been The Rock, but Tom Brady didn't bring out the little quirkiness and
Joe, read
stuff
that comment.
until after
Sorry.
he left New England.
That is
Say
funny.
that again, Mike. We all the comment
That is
distracted
funny.
us all. I'm sorry. Can you say
That's
that
funny.
again?
I can't even see the comments.
It's second coming.
You can't-
Mac Jones is the second coming of Brady.
Hey, you blocked.
Ah, you blocked that man.
That voicemail
Oh
was
my
blocked.
God bless
God.
that guy. God.
Nah, but I said
That's who you need to call your show, Luke Justice. That's who you... Wow.
nah, but
That's
what I said
crazy.
was I would have said The Rock, but Tom Brady, charisma.
The Rock didn't win enough.
I know,
That's
but,
the
I don't think The
reason
Rock
I
won
didn't
enough.
say that.
Yeah.
That's the reason I didn't say
but
that.
Tom Brady charisma didn't show up till he went to Tampa Bay.
Went to Tampa Bay. Yeah. There you go. It's a good point.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Tampa Bay.
Don't encourage me.
Tampa.
Please don't.
Hey, going back to the video game topic, we got a comment here from Justice. He says Dick Douglas looks like a Nintendo Switch.
Who is this
kinda
lobbyist?
guy.
Who is this lobbyist? I mean, seriously.
It must be one of Biden's
This is a guy
people,
with
bro.
50.
He's
I
like
met
coming after
President
you.
Biden. He at least employs people more competent. What's a switch? The only thing I know about switchings in baseball.
You gotta relax, bro. All right, so gentlemen, we do have another party that's going to be joining us here, and I think we might as well just throw the break out the window. The maestro of the I-70 sports media empire actually wants to join us for tonight's edition of the High Spot segment.
shout.
Mike,
Give
this
a
is
shout.
your interview. You guys cool with the maestro joining
Yes.
us? You guys good with that?
Yeah, bring it.
All
Bring
right,
it.
let's bring
Shoot
him
and
on.
shout.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, the shoot and shout segment. My
His
mistake.
own name.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the maestro of the Wrestle Talk podcast, also the proprietor of the I-70 Sports Media Empire. Jeremy, what's up, man? What's up, bud?
How are you all doing this evening?
Well, I'm doing great.
Great.
What's going on?
Chilling, dog. We chilling.
Man.
What's on your mind, man?
So,
But wait. I know you want to get on your shoot and shout, so I'm going to have you do this if you don't mind. Can you introduce the segment, break down the rules, and you can go first, buddy, because I know you want to get it off your chest.
all right. All right, folks. This is the Wrestle Talk podcast shoot and shout segment. And let me tell you how it goes. For about a minute, you can say whatever you want. That hopefully won't get us fined or, banned or anything. But it doesn't have to be right.
It's in the budget. Say what you want.
Shit, paying us isn't even in the budget. But anyway, look,
Speak for yourself.
you make money outside of this. You stay out of this. But no, it can be about professional wrestling. It can be about, employees at Best Buy. It can be about customers at Quick Trip who just piss you off. It can be whatever. But for 1 minute, unfiltered, uncensored, raw emotion about what is on your mind in the world today. And trust me, there is a lot to talk about. So I don't even know if it'd fit in a minute. So
All right. I think we might have music for this. You know my audio's been the shit.
yeah, it sounds like James Earl Jones stole your voice.
No, we're not getting no music tonight either. I'm sorry, fellas.
Sounds
You should
good.
hear the song too. It's
actually pretty
it's
fun.
like Limp Bizkit as like a Broadway show tune. It's break stuff. It's very,
In
very good. But anyway,
in honor of your microphone, would it change it to a Barry White song if we played it? Would it?
I
start
was
off-
listening to Barry White on the way home.
Love.
And if I knew that, I was like, dang, Renee's got that Barry White
I wish I
going.
sounded like this in real
No,
life, dog.
you would
Like,
be
this
the
shit would
best
be
radio
crazy.
show host. Like an
Yeah, and I can do it in
NPR.
Spanish too. Bienvenidos. Can you imagine? Raking it in. All right, so you guys know what to do, baby. We get 30 seconds to a minute. Come off the chest about anything. It can be wrestling related. It doesn't have to be. And guess what? You heard the man. The maestro's going first. Maestro, do what you do.
All right, folks. It is officially the end of my childhood. I mean, Tom Brady, the GOAT. And I usually don't say it like that because every decade is different in sports. New rules change. These days, you can't even put your finger on their shoulder pad without there being a fucking penalty. But Tom Brady, who has over 84,000 passing yards, who who has 624 touchdowns, 10 Super Bowl appearances, 7 Super Bowl titles, possibly a 4th MVP award coming his way. We don't know just yet. But after 22 seasons, he retired. Let's put it this way. He's been in the league longer than the Houston Texans have been in the league. If that doesn't tell you how long this dude's been playing, I don't know what to tell you. But next season, it'll be the first year without Breeze, Manning again, Big Ben, and Tom Brady. I mean, and what the hell? Let's throw Philip Rivers in there just as a consolation prize for him. But
For who?
You don't have to do that. You're too kind. You're too kind.
Screw Philip
You're
Rivers.
too kind.
Anyway.
We don't get participation trophies away here.
Boom.
Sonny Money, I'm just going to block.
Oh, yeah, by the way,
comment.
Eli was right.
Yeah, but
Eli was right.
But anyway, for all the controversy he has amassed in his 22-year career, Tom Brady is a quarterback, an athlete that we will never see the likes of again in the sport of the NFL. He went from being drafted in the 6th round to being a bona fide Hall of Famer. And it's about damn time that people start respecting that. You don't have to like the Patriots, because hell, Lord knows I don't. But you got to respect Tom Brady, especially on the field. And that's what I got.
And his wife is very beautiful.
Maestro. Of course, you want to bring up the man's wife. Dick Douglas, you are sick, man. All right. Well, by the way, I could go on and on about how Tom Brady ruined football, but we'll save that for
because
another
he kicked
day.
Mahomes' ass.
Yeah, Mahomes actually
because
has a
of the
shot.
tuck
Has a
rule.
shot.
Okay, hold on, Mike. Because of the tuck rule,
That's
quarterbacks
disgusting.
are impervious to contact. The game has never been the same since the tuck rule game. And I'm the last guy you'll ever hear standing up for the Raiders, but that was some bullshit. The whole game has changed. You can't even touch the quarterback. If you accidentally tap the quarterback in the head while trying to tackle him, guess what? 15-yard penalty, first down.
well-
He played a big part in ruining professional football, and it's been a
There
decline
was-
from a viewer perspective. It's been terrible
Hold on,
for
Jeremy.
the last 10
Hold on,
years
Jeremy.
because of it.
I want to add
Nonsense.
on to your point.
Don't even get me
I'm not
started
going to
on
get you
that.
started. I'm just going to help emphasize this. Now you see our campaign to say professional wrestling. Look at what the fans did. They made Tom Brady make the tuck rule, if that's what you're saying. I don't know if that's the damn truth. I don't know. I met Roger Goodell once at a club. Not very
sorry.
impressive. Okay. And it's fans like that sounded the alarms that if they touched their precious Tom Brady, they were going to boycott and never watch football again. So they made the rule, just like AEW fans mostly, some WWE fans own until they book whoever they want to book to win. And that's what we're trying to save here in this campaign, Renee. So thank you for bringing that up.
Oh, dear goodness. All right. Well, Mike, you get the gist of it. Everybody's sounding off about something that they got on their chest. Let's see a little passion, a little fire from the mic. Let me get some of that Twitter energy, dog. That's what I
I'm trying
want.
to figure out.
Because if your girl looks good, I'm knocking her up.
There
right?
it is. There it is.
Hey!
And speaking of fine, where that fine lady at? You had her co-host the podcast one day.
Who called? Who you talking about?
She a wrestler or something?
Oh, we had a lot of fine women on the show. Very talented.
Can you bring me my
Interesting.
contact book, please? I could help him out.
Douglas
Fair.
usually books the
Don't
women, I'm
do
going to be
that.
honest.
But
Don't do that to
anyway,
a young lady.
uh,
Don't do that to a young lady.
You got to relax.
But
Ruin this girl's
I
life.
kind of want to touch on what Sonny was saying earlier. That you never know what people go through. You know what I mean? And they had that young lady jump off the roof that won Miss USA former, and she was a lawyer. She was successful. That's why I always try to be nice and joke with people. And I only really kind of joke with people that I really know. You know what I mean? But I always try to show love to everybody, as you see on Twitter and stuff. And that's just me. And I show love to people on the podcast, as you know. So that's all I got to worry about. Just try to be genuine with people and be kind to people. That's all I got.
Love it.
Love that, man. That's some good energy right there. Well, I wish I could be diplomatic and positive like Mike, But I'm a Chiefs fan.
Oh boy.
And I got something to say.
Shit.
This is not going to be
Shout out
good.
to Outkast, because the South got something to say.
This ain't going to be good.
No, it's not going to be good.
Oh, that was our plan.
It's true in wrestling and it's true in life. There are these people, okay? And I'm going to call them these people because these people you never hear from. It's your birthday. Your kid just graduated from kindergarten. You lost a couple of pounds. Not a word. But the Kansas City Chiefs get screwed over and over this season. Over and over this season. And I'm not going to go into any detail about what happened during the Bengals game or the fact that everyone blamed the Chiefs for the overtime rule when we were the ones who petitioned a few years ago to change that rule. And I'll be the first to admit, we didn't have a great game on Sunday. Patrick Mahomes is not God. Michael Jordan played for 17 seasons and only won 6 championships. No one's perfect. It's not any of that I have a problem with, and unfortunately, like I said, the team didn't play well. We were outmatched and outclassed that day, and it's none but respect for the Bengals. But it's these people who want to run their dirty, stinking rat traps. That's fine. Go for it. They want to run their dirty, stinking rat traps at me when I haven't heard from them since Moses wrote the original books of the Bible, okay? These folks are always watching your shit. They don't have nothing to say until they can come around like Ralph and go, That's the only time you hear from these people, bro. And I am sick and tired of them. Well, Broncos fans. Who's more Johnny Come Lately than Broncos fans? You know who? Rams fans. Yeah. That's who.
Oh,
and Bengals fans.
On Rams fans.
No.
Dude, listen, everybody here, for better or for worse, we're loyal to our teams. Well, there you go. My point exactly. Thank you, Jeremy. Who the hell cares? You know why? You're a Browns fan. I'm a Chiefs fan. He's a Patriots fan. That guy down there is a Chiefs fan. And Dick Douglas,
I'm a fan of myself.
I don't think we've ever gotten
I'm a
your
fan of myself.
Of
Listen,
course.
football would do better.
He's a Liberace fan.
He's a Liberace.
Excuse me. Put me on my high spot or shoot
somebody
shot,
shot
whatever
me.
the hell we're doing. Throw my camera.
Was checking the mail.
No.
Checking the mail. Anyway, I'm too old for this shit. All right, so that's my shoot shout. If you're in my comment section in my DM talking trash and I never hear from you all year long, BLOCKED blocked. You gone, you're done. You're sleeping with the fishes.
Oh, yeah.
What? You know how to spell?
Yeah. I thought we were talking about
I didn't know that about you. Very nice.
He affords good translators.
All right, so indeed. All right, so gentlemen, Mike and you, we've come to the end of our time, but let us give you the floor before we get on out of here. And thank you for being good sports and doing the shoot and shout segment with us. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we are missing one person, right? You, did we get to hear from you? I don't think we got your shoot and shout.
No, we didn't.
No, you didn't.
He chimed in a few times. Okay, so
we didn't even. Well,
but you wouldn't stop interrupting the whole damn time anyway. So
I'm
what's the
offended.
difference?
That's disgusting.
It's also true. You, the floor is yours, bro. We gotta get your take. Give it to us.
Sunday we witnessed the travesty. But I wanna throw this out there. Sunday we witnessed the travesty of the Chiefs losing in the AFC Championship. Crap happens, right? But the fact that people are out here saying that it was rigged, that the game was rigged, come on, man. And I hate to say that it's Chiefs fans doing this.
but it is.
That makes you look super lame.
Petty.
Super lame.
Boo.
It makes you look like Patrick Mahomes.
You sound like Browns fans.
It sounds,
blaming Odell Beckham Jr.
It sounds
That's
like
what you sound
poverty
like.
fans. It sounds like fans of a team that hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, and it's sad. No, that game was not fixed. They went to halftime. They made adjustments. They came back. They got They put Mahomes in pressure, and it forced
got
Mahomes
worked.
to regress back to his college days, not to his early NFL days, his college days. Bad footwork, not getting people downfield. And yes, it made a lot of the other things come to light too. So stop blaming the refs. Stop blaming conspiracy theorists. This man is worth $500 million. I'm sorry, $500 million. There's nothing anybody else going to pay him that's going to make him lose out on this game, and that's it.
Facts. Hey, you remember the thing that's a consolation to all of us? At least we didn't lose by 40 in the first round like the Patriots.
But you still lost.
That's why I wasn't heartbroken.
Mike. Mac Jones.
And hey, at least we're not the
Jones.
Steelers.
Yeah, we're not this. Hey, you know what? Any team that Mike Tomlin is coaching, I'll take it. That's just me.
He's a
Mike Tomlin's the man.
Yes.
Yeah, he is. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Mike, you nothing but love and respect. Always remember that you're welcome on the show. Just bring that heat. Number 2, welcome in as the newest members of the Wrestle Talk family. It's a lifetime membership.
My goodness.
$20 a month.
We'll be sending you a bill. All right, we'll be billing you here shortly.
And I'm billing the mic,
No,
so it's all good.
And number 3, man, drop the info about the podcast so people know when they can check out the Mike and You podcast. Go ahead, fellas.
You got it, you.
We at Mike and You podcast on Twitter. We record once a week, almost every week. We take breaks off, but there's 52 weeks in a year, so we record at least 38 plus. So you can hear us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and so forth and so on, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you got questions, hit us up. If you got comments, hit up the text line, 816-654-6883. We listen to them all. Your opinion matters. Thanks.
Mike, final thoughts.
The Chiefs sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Man, get the hell out of here, man. Get your ass out.
You mixed the Chiefs
Man, y'all
with Mac Jones. That's what he mixed it up with.
Trash. All right, fellas, have a good day.
All
Peace.
right, you too.
All right. Man, shut your mouth, Siri. Don't talk back to me.
An
Make me
apple
a sandwich.
product.
Anyway, hey, Maestro, I know it's been a little wild. I sound like Barry White and Darth Vader. Dick Douglas has been a pain in my ass the entire show, but I think we've done a pretty good job of being entertaining. You've been watching. Yeah. You got a chance to come in and chime. How are we doing, bro? We doing a good job or what?
I mean, it has been great so far. I hope to keep it up in the second half of the show.
No doubt
I will
about
say
it.
this. There was you mentioned about the tuck rule ruining the game of football.
That's such a disgust. That sounds very sexual too. I don't like that. Can we
Yeah.
call it a different goddamn
everything.
But
I
this
mean-
is the thing. This is the thing. There is a hit, and I don't remember. I think it was Troy Vincent of the Bills who did this. You can look it up on YouTube anytime, when your wife gives you permission to actually do something, Renee. So what you do, Tom Brady took a hit right to the head, got clobbered, and got right back up. I don't even remember. They might have thrown a flag. I don't remember.
Clobbered?
Yeah, this dude's helmet came clean off. This is I think 2001. Okay, because it was on turf field, so
Bro,
they could allow that to happen.
Why should the highest paid player in the sport be impervious to what every other player has to?
Ask LeBron James. I don't know.
Tom Brady has never
That's
been the
okay.
highest paid player in the sport, though.
Who?
Dude, Tom Brady, one way or another,
No.
has always gotten his money.
No.
Here's.
Probably the highest
No.
paid player on
Never.
the
That's
Patriots
where
at
you're
any
Can
wrong.
I
given
just
time.
jump in real quick before? Because listen, this is a non-football fan's perspective. This is just the average guy that's somewhat more financially stable than the average guy's thought. Okay, Tom Brady put himself in the position to be shit on by everyone in humanity. Okay, think of how many times a team that worked years, and I mean years, to get to a Super Bowl, they get screwed on a questionable call against the Patriots. Isn't that true? How many times did we see those type of calls in a playoff game, in a Super Bowl game with the Patriots? And let's be honest, I'm no fan of the Rams. Stan Kroenke is paying me $792 million for his stupid-ass decision. Okay? But look what he did. Look what he did to the Rams. They had the whole videotapes, the scouting. So Tom Brady deserves it. Now, with that being said, Tom Brady has made so much money off of endorsement deals that he probably is, in fact, the most paid player in the NFL. When it comes to Mahomes, I don't think it comes close. I think that Tom Brady's endorsement deals are too high. It's because he's been around for too long. So he's more paid than everybody. Now, in life, people that kind of make the sport what it is, like a LeBron James, get certain incentives. I don't agree with it, but it's time to start calling them out for what they are. And that's
for building shitty teams that can't win.
That's fair too. I mean, just ask Kansas City. And I mean, it's just
we had a Super Bowl recently. I don't see you winning
appearance.
nothing. We won a Super
Oh,
Bowl.
see, that's how bad.
Yeah,
That's
Jimmy G doesn't know how to throw a pass.
Excuse me.
Well, yet he was one game from the Super Bowl.
Here's what I
once
tell
again,
my
wasn't
Cardinals
he?
fans out there. 2011 was a long time ago. They won a Super Bowl so long ago, Renee. I completely forgot they won.
Well, how convenient.
But here, can I say something
How
real
convenient.
quick before we go any further? I don't know. I know we're probably waiting. Our guests are waiting on us.
Oh, Mr. Curtis will be joining us in just a matter of
awesome.
moments. Guaranteed
Well, I
that.
saw something today that was just ridiculous. Okay, it was an individual on Facebook that was saying that basically, politically speaking, that one side was a lot worse than the other, and satanic people, and they're just awful, and this president was really, really bad, and so was this guy and this guy.
Where are you taking this?
I just
right
want
now?
to, because it brings up a good point. Okay, I've met the last two presidents. I really have for a shoot. Okay, the people honestly think that they're on different teams. They're on the same team. They're on the same team, and they're against us. Okay, but when people constantly act like analysts and advisors, and that they have inside information from backstream URLs and what you have, and leaked whatevers, it's detrimental because you can't actually have a conversation. And whenever you have people like in the football sense that, Tom Brady is actually the devil, or he's completely ruined football.
Yeah, some people take that shit a little bit too far. I'm gonna be honest. Everything I say is
right,
all
and I'm not saying you personally,
take it that serious.
But there's certain people that take things so serious you can't actually have a conversation on if the most disgusting thing, the tuck rule. Listen. I guess we were all in middle school once. I just don't understand why we have to call it the tuck rule. I was gonna say,
God, that was what?
And
when I was,
you know
Rub
what I'm
and
saying?
tug.
It's
Rub and tuck.
Who the hell is Greg Gutfeld? Oh, I remember Greg. I taught him. I gave him one of my stories once. Greg's a good guy.
Is that what you're talking about? My goodness. Okay, well, listen. Maestro, we want to thank you,
I
bro,
just
for
hit
jumping
you with
on.
a whirlwind. You don't even know what happened. You just got out of the R. Kelly fog.
Oh my God,
because I bounced so back and forth so much. I feel bad now.
No. Well, we love that, but we have another sharp guy dressed in a suit ready to come on. And he's got a lot more interesting stuff to say than the jibber jabber that's coming out of your mouth.
And I'll be sure to tune in while that happens.
All right. Maestro, thanks for the strong take,
My
man.
pleasure.
I love your perspective. I love how you tied it back into wrestling, man. I always love how you do that.
This is my pleasure. Always glad to be here. And Dick Douglas, don't let Renee drive you too insane. And Renee, vice versa.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah, we
I don't want
try.
you guys
Bro.
killing each
Hey,
other.
last quick question.
All right, what's up?
Last quick question for you, Maestro.
Okay.
Are you in the kitchen?
No.
Because I hear you got something cooking.
Get out.
Just keep it.
Get out. No bad puns.
You guys will have to tune in. The Maestro might be back next week, and he might be breaking some news. So, and also keep an eye out on all things I-70 Sports Media, right, Maestro?
Always. Forever and always. Hope everybody stays well. I'll talk to
Glad
you guys
see
later.
me, Jeremy.
Peace.
Peace. I'm trying to give the man his moment in the sun, and you...
That was the...
I don't know what the hell you're doing over there.
You shit on his moment with that stupid pun. Who does a pun?
Big pun.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, The Barry White hour continues here with my co-host, Dick Douglas. Listen, man, we're a few minutes late, but that first interview was crazy.
Fun.
Thank you to the mic. Thank you to you. Thank you to Sonny who called in. He was a part of that, the maestro. And the comment section has been going bananas all night. And they're comparing you to Greg Gutfeld. It's insane right now. But we got to get serious for a second, because there's a man who, when he makes his presence felt, it always for an important reason. I hearken back to guys like Jack Tunney, Richard. When you saw Jack Tunney, man, you knew that something big was going to happen back in the old WWF days. So this is no different. Mr. Duncan Curtis is the kind of man who brings a halt to the show. And whenever you hear that music play, you know something, there's about to be a paradigm shift. And you're going to get that energy right off the bat as soon as he joins us. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is also my honor and pleasure to welcome in for the very first time a BOD member, the commish, so to speak, a man whose words carry a lot of weight, both in XWE and the KWA, the one and only Mr. Duncan Curtis. Thank you for being here, Mr. Curtis. What an honor and a pleasure it is. We appreciate you making time for us tonight.
Thanks, Renee. Appreciate it.
Man, well, listen, I know this is a very, very busy time of the year for you. XWE is full-fledged into 2022. We'll start in the present and we'll work our way backwards, if that's okay with you. What the heck you got going on? You've already had one show this year, and we're only a couple of weeks away from number 2. Bring us up to speed.
Well, February 26th, Heartbreak Brawl at the Salina Fieldhouse. The return of the magnificent Malico.
I'm sorry. Like I want to be excited, but I gotta be sincere. Malico gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Oh, how welcoming! How welcoming!
Dude, he's crazy. What? You've never seen? Have you ever
seen
seen Malico?
And you start shitting on Thunder. That's fine.
What are you talking about? Anybody who's seen Malico understands why I feel how I feel. Are you serious?
Can I ask
Mr. Curtis?
Mr. Curtis, is he accurate at all, or am I more on the?
Oh, he gives people the heebie-jeebies.
Okay, that's
he
fair.
scares some kids. Some kids love him. You know.
I stand corrected, Renee.
Be like the 12th time today. Take that. So Malico is coming back. I also hear that our friend Paradox may be in action at Heartbreak Brawl. Any news that you can share with us about what the champ might be doing?
Oh, I will tell you this much. He will be in action. KWA champion is always in action because everybody wants that belt.
Now, are you able and willing to share who he might be defending that championship against?
I'll keep that a surprise.
Ooh.
Keep the fans on their toes. I definitely don't blame you. So I said we were going to go backwards, so let's jump back in time a little bit. I've only known you as an executive for the XWE, the man that comes in and wrongs the right, so to speak. Mr. Curtis, what were you doing before you took that role as the commissioner, right, of the XWE? I want to make sure I get that right.
Well, your press release got it right, and you kind of have it half right. But
okay.
First thing first on just the whole top of the mountain. I'm the chairman of the Kansas Wrestling Alliance, the KWA. So I'm on the top of the totem pole to begin with. Now, as far as XWE goes, you know, me and Billy Simmons are co-owners. So you always got to give credit to my right-hand man. You know, probably the best trainer I know. He also trains the whole KWA. All those new guys you see, the superheroes and stuff you see flying around in the last show, it's because of him.
Insane.
Because of him, and you've talked to him a couple times. It's a great man
He's
to be around.
He's a great guest.
Yes. So, you know, before all that, it was, you know, I was a wrestling fan just like anybody else, just like Richard, just like you.
I have to ask, though, so I imagine that there was a path that led to you being the chairman of the KWA. And when you do make an appearance, sometimes it's at PCW, sometimes it's at SXWE, it's always impactful. So what led you to take that position as the chairman?
Always been a leader, natural born. You know, a lot of times was a lone wolf as a kid, honestly. You know, at school, you'd be the smarter one. Richard probably knows about this. You're the smart one. You smartest guy in the room. So
so he
No,
thinks.
it's true. It's
you
so
know,
true.
I gotta, you gotta put him over a little bit.
See, Mr. Curtis, I just want to point out that your intellect just spoke for itself. I mean, that was to not even know me, but to pick up on the character traits that shows the leadership you're bringing to KWA.
Oh, I like the fireplace too. So, I like the fireplace in the back. This is just one of the compounds, man.
There you go.
COVID. Got to jump around. Make sure I don't get sick. Because if I get sick, then we're in trouble.
Well,
can we
falls
add
apart.
this
There's no
comment to
question
the
about it.
board? This new one. I like this new comment. Can we add that to the board, please?
This one
Yes.
here? It says here, I'll read it out loud. Oh, Ray Leone. We're going to get into some Ray Leone conversation because I got to ask you. It says, Mr. Curtis, sir, could you please start booking Richard Douglas instead of that babbling, biased, stupid idiot? Why are we putting this up? What is wrong with you people? You tricked the production people, Douglas. He's very smart, fair, and a beautiful individual.
Thank you very much.
Get out of my face with this nonsense. Are you
God
serious?
bless him. God bless.
Oh, my goodness.
Sorry.
Okay, you know
Sorry.
what? Let's take a step back here. We're going to have to...
I got you frazzled.
Get these... We got to get these comments filtered a little bit better is what I want to say, okay? So we have an intelligent and insightful question from one of our lovely co-hosts. And let's go ahead and bring it up on the screen. It says, okay, let me make sure I read this slowly so I don't read that out loud. Oh, it's from Sunday. Okay, good. All right, it says, what changes does Mr. Duncan Curtis have envisioned for XWE and the whole KWA, as a matter of fact, for 2022? Great question.
Well, I mean, people have been asking us where we're going to expand, when we're going to go to these, other towns in Kansas. I know you had your boy on there, Mr. I-70. I mean, he knows the ins and outs of the whole state. So trying to get everywhere we can that isn't already covered by another promotion, because you're old school enough to know that ain't really right to go into somebody else's backyard and try to take what's theirs.
I think that's an interesting comment, and I'm going to kind of piggyback off that comment and ask you this question. So we've had this conversation in back rooms, guys that have run shows and kind of tried to do this pro wrestling thing. How much space is too much space, though, Mr. Curtis? Like Kansas City, for example, big town. There's room probably for more than one promotion. Some of these smaller towns out in Kansas, PCW shows, XWE shows, 500, 600, 700 people sometimes at these shows. I'm not trying to downplay it by any sense, but at some point, right, like you got to get business done. So where is that line? Is it like we can't run on the same day? We can't run in the same town? We can't run. What is that? Are there parameters, or is it just based on the individual? I'm curious.
Well, probably more, same town is definitely a thing, because then you're splitting the town. You're splitting the town for one same day. Say you're within 50 miles. You may pull people, that usually go there, here, and, such and such and such. And then got to realize this sport is been built on ego more than a lot of things. And, promoters, owners, chairmen, commissioners, we've all got a little ego. Some of us got more than others. So, you kind of have to keep that fire from getting too hot And then, because the fans end up missing out, end up getting hurt the most. It's not the promoters, it's not the companies, it's the fans. That's what this is all about, is the fans. Because if there's no fans, there's no XWE, there's no PCW, there's no KWA, and there isn't no Wrestle Talk podcast because there's no wrestling.
You're damn right about that. Damn right about that. Well, I guess you talk about integrity, you talk about respect, and I wanted to wait, but I can't help myself. I have to admit, Mr. Curtis, I am a little distraught because at the last show, I was subject to some threats at the hands of the Empire. And you being a KWA official would probably be the appropriate person to ask. What types of measures does the KWA and XWE take against groups like the Empire who don't just want to focus on getting things done in the ring, but want to intimidate, harass, and bully fans and commentators? I mean, these guys literally walked up into my space. Now, by the way, security did their job. They got there as quick as they could. I take nothing away from them. They do an excellent job. But they took my glasses, handed it to Ray Leone. Ray Leone stepped on them, and he kicked them back at me. Now, fortunately, I've been very keen with dealing with bullies my entire life. I had a rough upbringing, I'll admit. So I had a second pair, and they didn't really seem to like that. But I'm curious, what do you take away when you see behavior like this from incredibly talented guys who could do things the right way, but they seem to not be able to help themselves?
Can I get an insight real quick just to help me with the understanding the question? Is this the same thing you've been bitching about for a month now?
It was actually 2 weeks ago, and it's not bitching. I'm expressing concern as a member of the pro wrestling media, as a commentator, and as a fan. Am I not allowed to do that? Because I could have swore Sonny Money was in here ranting 40 minutes ago about how you shouldn't crap on people's opinions and how people should be able to voice their energy. And then he comes on 10 minutes later, and he's like, "You're wrong." I'm like, bro, didn't you just say you shouldn't tell people they're wrong?
Mr. Curtis, I'd just like to apologize.
The hypocrisy coming out of your mouth and his mouth tonight is disgusting.
Curtis,
I'm just going to say it flat out right now. Just flat out.
We lost our sponsorship with MyDoll, and so things get a little heated sometimes. I do like Renee, but I'm sorry he took away from the question.
They're off-brand off-brand alternatives for that, so I'm sure they might pick you up on a sponsorship, maybe not as much money, but
I'm glad you guys are having a jolly old time at my expense. Mr. Curtis, you have to remember, you hired me to do the job that I do, to be unbiased, to be neutral, to make sure I talk about the talent truthfully, and to call it as I see it. I'm just expressing a concern here. I know you're going to hear from one of your loyal employees, because from what I understand, you have an open door policy. And I'm not really feeling that right now. I've got to be honest.
Oh, I definitely hear you, Renee. And that's why we got security there. That is definitely why we got security there. I mean, I was getting charged to have the security there. But because I, care about my people, we have security there every show. Now, you got to remember, they were doing all that bullying, but yet, you definitely had the cavalry come in and save the day, too.
They did, with all due respect. But what's going to be done with the Empire moving forward? Because this, to me, was just a warning shot. And I'm quite concerned. If you saw the Wrestle Talk Podcast Instagram from when we were in Hutchinson, I was outside promoting the show, doing my job, showing up, unlike Dick Douglas 2 weeks ago. And they were creeping around the corner stalking me, Mr. Curtis. I think I should be issued my personal security detail just to make sure that your lead commentator is able to do his job. I think it's only fair to make that request.
If that's what it comes down to, then that's what it comes down to. That's fine. It's not a big deal. To take care of you, take care of Rusty, even though Rusty seems to be a little bit unlike himself at the commentary booth as of late.
It's weird. I can't believe what's gone on with Rusty. When the Empire showed up, Rusty Rex started acting different, man. Nobody's more disappointed than I am. I gotta call it how I see it.
You're
I
right.
have a question.
Oh boy, do you?
When it comes to actual performance evaluations, do you think we can get one for Renee right here on the Wrestle Talk podcast?
Okay, you know what? This isn't about me. Okay, no,
No,
no, no. We're not doing this.
I'm just joking. I'm not joking. I kind of wanted Renee to get his comeuppance, but when it comes to
Like I haven't already? Bro, those Quick Trip sunglasses are hard to come by. They shouldn't have done that to me. And if you would have been there, I think you would have been appalled.
if I was there, I would have been instilling democracy into professional wrestling like I do in every territory I'm in and win. But my question is, Mr. Curtis, just as well as everyone, pro wrestling is about evolving. It's about evolving with the times. It's about adapting to new technological trends. With COVID, everyone had a great lesson to learn with how to adapt on the fly and how to, keep being sustainable. What has COVID taught you to propel the companies to the future and beyond?
You can't. It's one of those things you just can't. You can't plan for. You really can't. Because honestly, when when this first hit, it seems like an eternity ago, but it's only been 2 years. Our venue that we had, just said, "Hey, we're shutting down." Wasn't a case of, "Oh, you have a week. Oh, you have a month." They called us and said, "We're shutting down." So there's no venue at all. And that was before they put all the sanctions and the gatherings and everything. This was the week in Kansas. When they did that, it was at the end of March 2 years ago. We had a show that was booked the weekend before that started. They called us the Tuesday before and said, "We're shutting down." Period.
Wow.
So you cannot plan for these things. All you can do is the mask, the sanitizer at the venues. If people want to wear the mask, they are more than free to. They want to bring their own, they can, but you cannot control these things. And you see WWE, I mean, these venues, and that's every sport. Oh, in some venues they want to be all vaccinated. In some venues, all you have to do is wear a mask. I mean, there's no real precedent set for everybody, and it's kind of a slippery slope.
That's right. That's right. Renee, are you done cooling off over there?
Listen, I'm trying. I'm getting it in the chat. I'm getting it during the live broadcast. I mean, I'm just a man trying to do his job here, and I don't understand why everybody's turning against me, but it's okay, because I'm a man of integrity and diligence, and we have a job to do here. So
I have a statement from Rusty
let me
Rex.
do that job.
I thought Renee had dropped his nachos on the floor again, right out of the starting gate. The Empire came over to help pick them up. That's what he thought. That was Mr. Rex's statement. I don't know how that helps your investigation, Mr. Curtis, but I'm going to provide you with every bit of transparency I can on my end.
Yeah, there's not much you can do on your end, but as far as Rusty Rex, I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, he still owes the KWA money from that vending machine he broke after COVID was over. We got him out. We paid for the hotel for 16 months, and they had to have a party, so they broke open that vending machine and chowed down, and he still owes us money. So maybe that's why he hasn't been paid. Maybe that's why he's grumpy.
Well, I would stand up for Rusty Rex and, talk about how he's got a flip phone and you guys have had him in a Pinto since the early 90s and all that. But you know what? I'm not, because he could have stood up and stood beside me against these freaking bullies of the Empire. He decided to actually be the one that was sitting there eating some sort of cookies with chocolate in them. He didn't do a thing. I don't know if he was peeing his pants or he was too busy eating, but he should have stood up beside me to guys that are bullies, really, the Empire. They're nothing more than that, and I'm sticking to it, okay? So now, I have another question.
Go ahead.
Dick Douglas, I see you getting consultation over there.
I had something. We had a scheduled post that was supposed to go, but it didn't go, so I'm trying to work that out.
Very exciting. Very exciting. So, Mr. Curtis, let's talk about what's truly important here, and this is the future of the KWA. I know this is going to be hard for you to narrow it down, and you mentioned it earlier. There are some talents coming through the KWA right now that we should absolutely highlight and keep an eye on. Nobody would know better than you who some of those people are. Could you give us a couple of the gentlemen and the ladies that all pro wrestling fans should be running over YouTube and looking up the KWA, PCW, and XWE, because the production is crazy. I mean, let's just keep it 100 here. But it's really ultimately about the talent. Can you give us a little bit of insight on who we should be looking out for?
Oh, you gotta look out for Kuda. I mean, he's been on fire for seems like almost a year now, and he's just been, taking every opportunity that he gets and capitalize on it. Now he's, in line for a title shot for the XWE title, and he's unpredictable. He is the most unpredictable performer there probably is in the entire KWA. But as you can see, the fans love him. They love him.
Well, wait a second. We're getting a question here from Sunny Money, and it's interesting. A lot of people perceive that you haven't been willing to accept Kuda as one of the most dominant forces in the KWA and XWE. Is there any truth to the rumors that you personally don't like Kuda? I have to ask that question because the fans are asking.
I have no problem with Kuda. Not at all. I mean, if I had a problem with him, why would he have got that opportunity for a title shot at the last show? Why would he have been in the tournament for the KWA championship last year? He's had every opportunity, just like certain other groups that will remain nameless at this point, to succeed. And, unlike them, they don't petition every other day to me and the board and everybody else. Why is this happening? Why are we supposedly getting screwed? He goes out there 1-on-1, 1-on-2, 1-on-3, even 1-on-4, as I recall, one show, and just takes care of business.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but this isn't the first time we've heard of people who feel like they deserve an opportunity having to wait an extended period of time. If I'm not mistaken, it wasn't too long ago that Colton Alexander was complaining that it was taking a little bit too long to get the opportunity. Now, we know that this last show that was given to him, but what can you do when the demand continually goes up, when you've got the KWA Heartland Championship, the XWE Championship? I mean, it's got to be a lot of pressure, Mr. Curtis, to try to sort these guys out, because there may be 3 to 5 people at one time that feel like they're the guy that deserves the opportunity. What do you do to separate these guys out and decide who it is? I'm always curious to ask you how that Kool-Aid is made, because it's got to be an extremely difficult position to be in.
That Kool-Aid, I mean, it depends on what flavor it is sometimes. You may like grape, you may like cherry, or whatever, but when it comes to people,
red all day.
Get out of here. Get the hell out.
Of course.
There is no other Kool-Aid, bro. It's red or nothing, basically.
Yeah, I get that. Chiefs fan, I know.
You didn't even drink Kool-Aid coming up. You were drinking like Perrier's and shit like that.
It's that type of language is why professional wrestling has been regressing for 5 years, Renee. I think we should let our guest answer the question that you asked. Very rude. Sorry.
Of course.
I'm
sorry. You're good. I mean, I get it. I get it. It's okay. He's frustrated, and I don't blame him. But like with the Fatal 4-Way, you had 4 of the top guys, in line for an opportunity. That's how you weed that out. Yep. And then you align those guys with people, even if it's a champion from another company. This is how you show me, hey, you deserve the right to be a champion or to compete for a championship. You can't just beat, Joe Blow on the street and think you deserve a shot.
Absolutely.
I agree. You got to earn it.
And I think we have always been, have always been pretty fair with, the opportunities. And you ask me about, up and coming performers or people who have already, set their feet, solid into. Second thing is for women is Stormy Renee. I mean, she was Stormy 3 belts for a little bit. So
plus her name rocks. I mean, we can just agree on that.
I remember when Cameron Renee kicked her right in the face. Remember that, Renee, when you hired me for the Royal Alliance?
I do remember that.
I do.
I was hoping to forget it. Thanks a lot, Dick.
That's someone we'd love to have back, but I mean, she's NXT, of course.
Right.
So I mean, I can't compete with Vince or Bruce Pritchard or whoever's messing with that.
Hey, you never know. The way XWE's going in KWA, you guys are on fire, man. I mean, you really are.
Finally, you say something during this 2-hour broadcast that makes a semblance of sense. Well
not
done,
to patronize
Richard.
Anyone, but I mean, you go on Facebook and all you 9 times out of 10, you're seeing XWE, you're seeing KWA, you're seeing. I mean, that's the best way to get your name out there is the marketing, and the fact your guys' production is phenomenal. It makes it so much easier to watch and be enjoyed. By the entertainment value.
It's definitely getting there, but like everything, even like this podcast. You want to go higher. You want to increase that production value. You want to be able to get, bigger and better guests. I mean, I'm sure, I know you've had wrestlers here, but I mean, you were talking about Ric Flair in the first hour. I was sitting here on my phone listening to your conversation with, with Mike and them and talking about Ric Flair and Hogan and stuff. One of these days, Wrestle Talk, you're talking to Ric Flair, you're talking to Hulk Hogan, you're talking to John Cena. That's where you want to be. And, that's where we want to be. But I met Eric Bischoff one time at a convention. And I asked him one question. I was like, how do you go about, doing what you're doing? How you go about this? And what's your secret? 2 words, go slow. That's what he told me. Go slow.
That's great advice. You got to be able to, prepare for the journey while you're on it too. That's the thing. Can I ask this question, Renee? Or are you going to? Because you and I are looking at the same comment. And
No, please go ahead. No.
So we have another statement from Mr. Rex here. Mr. Curtis, quick question. I've tried to get a hold of you for weeks, but can you forward me some gas money? Stuck in Trenton, Missouri from my last assignment after Road to Glory. And everyone snickers when I show them the KWA debit card. Renee, what have you done to your commentating partner here?
Hey, listen, I'm just a contractor. That's between Rusty Rex and the KWA, okay? Let's not mesh the two. Clearly, Rusty has separated and distanced himself from me like he did when the Empire was all in my face. So we'll let Rusty handle his business, and I'll handle mine, if that's okay with everyone.
A 2-part question because I'm going to jump on Sonny.
Let the man answer the first one.
No, sorry. I think that's fair.
Now, as far as Rusty goes, man, he was chasing the American way for 2 years pretty much, and even I had to go get a helicopter and go look for him for a time, sadly. But
so he gets a Pinto and you're in a helicopter.
What the hell was that? That's not how you talk to a guest. What the hell?
I'm getting assaulted verbally here all night. I don't get to defend myself.
He gets AAA. What are you talking about, Renee? Right. Come on.
Touche.
It's not like I leave him entirely stranded.
Right. Jesus, Renee. That's ridiculous. This is slander almost. Is there one wrestler in KWA who is under the radar and of the fans that you could see breaking out and becoming that fan favorite in 2022? That was from Sunny Money Mail. I think that's a great question.
Can you wait for me to put the comments up? You're going out of order.
Well, you're going too damn slow.
You varmint.
Hey, I'm going. I'm ready now.
Jeez Louise.
Hey, with the snowstorm coming, we may have all night to talk. So, I mean.
I know my grocery store's making money right now.
One of your grocery stores?
Stop.
Be honest. I'm not used to you being humble. I don't like. You know what? Let's ask about something important. Johnny Faith has come up several times here during this conversation, Mr. Curtis, and I got to ask you a question. Now, this is a little bit more shoot than work, and I'm going to keep it 100. Johnny Faith legitimately drives from North Carolina every freaking show. Have you met somebody even close to the sphere of the level of a commitment as your champion? I mean, let's just be honest. Johnny Faith was a guy that was never expected to hold a championship in the KWA and XWA, and now he's the United Liberty champion. Mr. Curtis, please take a moment and talk to us a little about a true American hero, not some politician ripoff like this guy.
No,
talk to us about Johnny Faith.
The backhanded comment from the disgruntled employee.
You wore me out tonight, Douglas. I'm sick.
What'd you say, Barry?
I'm just letting you know.
I have not seen anyone, with that much dedication to where he's come from, from the training facility, of course, taught by Billy Simmons again, segue back to the, our head trainer, the executive vice president of the KWA, of course, and nobody, I mean, he's worked his tail off, and, as much as you see XWE, KWA, stuff on Facebook, stuff on social media, Johnny Faith is posting himself. He's posting all the promotions that he's going to. He is giving everybody that has given him an opportunity the respect and the love for giving him that opportunity. And, as you can see, he's winning titles. I know he's set to compete for another one soon. And, I think he'll win that as well. So the sky's the limit.
Man is on fire. There's no question. So anybody else that could be perceived as an underdog within the KWA that you think people should keep an eye on? Because personally, and I know they've been tag team champs, but the Rebel Hearts, that's a team that I think everybody should keep an eye on, because them and the Knockout Kings.
Rusty Rex is hilarious.
Can you just wait till we get there, bud? Huh?
Sorry.
Just give me a second. The Knockout Kings, the Rebel Hearts. Who else is maybe flying a little under the radar? Thank you, Sonny, for another great question that you think the fans should keep an eye on.
Well, the Rebel Hearts, to go to them first. Again, they've come together and they've become one of the, best tag teams in the Midwest. And, they just won titles, someplace else and earlier, last week or the week before, and then won half of them. Just Christian Temple.
Shout out to Christian Temple.
Yeah, shout out to Christian Temple again. I mean, him and I don't know how Colton, how that happened, but they're tag champs down there.
It's like One Night in Paris.
It's like
that's what their tag team name should be. One Night in Paris.
Segue back to what you guys were talking about the first hour about WCW and WWE. Right. It's kind of like Sting and NWO Giant when they won the tag belts.
You're like, what?
It just
Kane and Daniel Bryan?
It just doesn't,
Seriously?
And at least they finally, came buddies and stuff. It's not like oil and water like these guys. So I don't know how long that's going to last, but Justin Gray, been a world champion, been a world tag team champion before, so they've got the pedigree to go as far as they want if they stick together.
There's no question in my mind. And another quick comment here from the Ray Leon. It says, "Oh, you think these men can actually hold a candle to me? Bell to bell. Bell to bell, mic to mic, I will blow these men up, rip their limbs off, all while verbally abusing them, and everything they think, everything to stand for, the lazy bums." Okay, so that leads me into one of my last questions. The behavior of superstars like Ray Leon, Mr. Curtis, he decided to walk out on a match against another hot up-and-coming superstar, the AIWF champion, Mitch Onyx. What do you do with someone like that? You had a 5-star match right at the beginning of your last show, and that, again, credit to the promotion. But my man just walks out. Does he get another shot? Is it a done deal? What needs to happen for somebody like Ray Leon to put himself in a position again to be competing for championships, considering he kind of disappointed the fans in Salina last time? I hate to say it. He could have stayed and fought, but he decided, him and Rich Richards decided to exit stage left instead of sticking around. What do you do with something like that?
You just, honestly, they've been given opportunities. Ray Leon was, you remember in the Bobby Jagger's Memorial Battle Royal, he was one of the last two, him and Aaron Helms. He had the opportunity to make history, and he didn't do it. And he can't blame anyone else but himself. And I personally told him that. And, he didn't have anything to say. He was stewing inside. He was upset inside. But, you can't make excuses. You can't walk out on opportunity for a championship in any promotion, especially not the AIWF. Matt Classic. Shout out to Matt Classic, of course. AIWF.
Shout out to Matt, friend of the show, former guest.
He allotted you an opportunity. Mitch has been going around the country defending that title. He's one of the other up and comers that you were, wondering about. He will probably hold some of the bigger titles in the KWA at some point in time, maybe even the AIWF Heavyweight Championship at some point. But you get these opportunities and you squander them, and then you want to make excuses on why you didn't win. Well, you walked out. So now nobody held you at gunpoint. Your advisor, your financial guy, whatever he is to you, your CFO, as you call him, that you're not going to give the company to when you die.
Well, there's Mr. Richards making excuses. You can read it in the comments section, Mr.
There
Curtis. This is exactly what I'm pointing to. More Dick Douglas type shenanigans from Rich Richards.
I just want to point out, I haven't said a damn word for 5 minutes. I've been respectful. I've been letting you rant, Renee. I've been letting you make your case and patronize the audience, and now I get assaulted, and I didn't even say a damn word. This is why Dick Douglas will be successful. And you took away from our guest again, and I'm getting tired of it. This is your employer. Show some respect.
No, well, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you. And let me tell you something. Let me quote a movie for you, son.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen Scarface, but it's in the eyes, Chico. I see you plotting over there. It's in the eyes,
That was
Chico.
a stereotypical comment. Because I'm Italian, you assume that I like mafia movies and crime movies.
What are you talking about? Scarface is about a Cuban, not an
It's
Italian.
about
Don't
crime.
make this about
It's
yourself.
about the same premise of crime and corruption, sir.
You guys don't have a monopoly on crime.
You guys. Whoa. What do you mean by you guys?
you people. That's right.
Wow.
They, them, those people.
That is just.
Jesus.
I hope.
Dick Douglas, I'm getting tired of you. I'm getting tired of you.
Watch it.
Mr. Chris, you got to make me a promise. If Rusty Rex is ever out, do not bring this guy in to do commentary with me. The little bit of hair that I have, it's going to be 100% gone. I can't keep up with this.
Renee, I couldn't see your head. The light got too bright whenever it hits your forehead.
I'm sorry. I have a decent production here. I apologize. My goodness.
Well, it seems like
you're in the damn rat cave.
Seems like more of the more popular bald guys, or most sexy and most famous, like The Rock, Stone Cold. I mean,
the transporter.
It can happen. The transporter. So I mean, there are a few. Right. So you definitely have some potential. Yeah,
Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daddy. All right, well, you know what? I got one more question. I know Dick's got one more, and then we'll get into the game show challenge. And here's my question. Mr. Curtis, we talked a lot about business today. I want to get a little bit personal.
Okay.
You, as a wrestling fan and as a family man, how do you balance the two? And when you aren't worried about KWA business and you're just watching wrestling for leisure, what do you watch? Tell us.
Well, when I was talking to you this past weekend, I was actually in Houston. We are down at the big, Fitterman Sports. Saying shout out to Fitterman Sports down there in Houston, Texas. If you've seen any of his shows, he's had the Undertaker, one of his clients, Ric Flair's one of his clients, Mike Tyson's one of his clients, Pete Rose, list goes on and on. Quick plug for him.
Shout out, let Pete Rose in the hall, by the way, y'all.
Yes, definitely.
I remember gambling with Pete.
So yeah, we
you're not helping.
In that in the 5-star hotel we were in that night, from about a couple miles from the venue, of course. I caught a lot of the Rumble. I've watched some AEW too. I try not to get too involved with the whole
the
beef. Okay,
beef.
Since Tony Khan is closer to my age than Vince McMahon is, of course, he's a little bit older than me, but still, I see what he's trying to do. But you don't quote unquote poke the bear. You really don't poke the bear. You got something good going for you. It's only been what's going to be the 3rd year of this, getting 1 million viewers, on your one show. Now you need to move that time slot, and you get 1 million there too. That's a network thing. So that's above even my pay grade right now. We'll see at some point. Maybe it won't be, but Turner and them, they're about that big money. So, but a little bit of WWE, a little bit of AEW, but it's hard for me to watch wrestling now because of the beef, because of the poor, they don't take care of their people. You've got that tier that they do, Roman and Seth Rollins and these guys, and then
Drew.
These workers that are great, and Cesaro, Ziggler gets hurt a lot. That's the thing I have with Kevin Owens. Even though he's had that attitude ever since Ring of Honor, he's money. He's money, and I don't think he's ever been utilized. Getting squashed by Goldberg wasn't the way to utilize what he had. Going. I think Goldberg was a draw 20 years ago, but the nostalgia act works once in a while. But you can only fan service so many people until those guys can't go anymore. Like Taker finally said, "I'm done. I'm done coming out. I'm done. I've got to let this character go because I'm about to turn 60 soon, and you can't be the dead man because you're close to you're trending towards actually really being dead." So, and with AEW, and I've heard talk about trying to get Flair one more match. So the guy is 72 years old.
Please don't.
It would be like watching Grandma's purse wrestle. Okay, did you see that guy's body in TNA? That was disgusting. They should have put a disc.
Hey, they did have Mae Young wrestle. Mae Young could do it. Ric Flair could do it.
I am probably one of the biggest Ric Flair fans there is. I do think he's the GOAT.
Oh yeah.
I do think he's the GOAT. He's had more than 16 title reigns. Let's just get that out of the way too while I'm on here answering your questions. But I couldn't see him, you don't do that again. And I mean, sure, he could probably do it if it was something cinematic like Sting does, but he's got 10 years on Sting. So
that's a good,
it's just not the same. And I just don't deal with a lot of watching the wrestling. I'll see Facebook, I'll see the news and everything, but I can't get into this beef because it's just a bunch of people sitting behind a keyboard talking and not knowing anything about the sport.
Well, you know what? You got to respect the perspective from a man that puts his money where his mouth is. Mr. Curtis, I know we've covered a lot here tonight, and I guess I promised that was kind of my last question, but I do have one more because I'd love to hear your insight
That's
so
fine.
you, as a talent evaluator, you're looking at all promotions, yours and every other around the world. It's a question that I wanted to bring up during High Spots, didn't get the opportunity to do so. It's clear that AEW, they have their pillars. And I wouldn't even say it's 4. I would say it's 5. Okay? And we all know them, right? Darby Allin, MJF, Jungle Boy. And I think there's one more that's eluding me. Help me out, guys.
Dick Douglas in 6 months.
You're not in AEW. Okay. No, okay. Maybe not yet,
I
right?
said 6 months. You cut me off.
Okay,
It's
fair
your
enough.
editor.
Fair enough. If that's what you believe, but anyway, we all know they've got their pillars, right? They got Darby, they got Jungle Boy. Sammy Guevara was the 4th, and then the 5th, Britt Baker. Do you see the same? Because the accusations by a lot of people are, including Chris Jericho, is that they are hamstrung by developing young talent. And I know that's something that the KWA takes great pride in, developing young talent. Do you think WWE even has 4 young pillars like AEW has right now? And if so, who would they be?
Well, Mr. Douglas was saying about Braun Breaker. I mean, that's you let
there's one. Gotcha.
Ciampa pretty much put him over. They let him break the black and gold X. You pretty much just took a dump in Triple H's table when you did that. I mean, but as far as 3 others, it's tough. I'd say Gunther, but I mean, why'd you change his name? I mean, I'll always consider him Walter.
You too,
he was
man.
Known, he was, and they almost went too far and tried to go Gunther Stark, and that's a whole nother can of worms I don't want to even get into. And they kind of had to backpedal on that once they realized there was a Gunther Stark that was a Nazi, freaking soldier. So it's like, no, we can't do that.
Whoops.
Yeah,
a couple of weeks before Holocaust Remembrance Day, also on top.
Great timing, guys.
Vince McMahon always on point.
I'm sure the maestro loved that.
that just. So I don't know if there's 4. They're really because they keep.
So let me give you the list that we got from Nightmare Jones. And by the way, that's a callback to April O'Neil, where she says, "I'm sure Splitter loves that." Anyway, so here are his 4: Austin Theory, Matt Riddle, Braun Breaker, Damian Priest. Do you agree? Disagree?
Well, now that 3 of them are on the main roster,
right?
Then no. But then, Garanja was still there. However, I don't want to. I probably butchered his name before he left. Johnny G, and I mean, he was there, and they had, and even Finn came back for a little bit, and Samoa Joe. But then they crapped on him too. So, current pillars, Braun Breaker, and with those other 3 on the main roster now. I mean, who can you name? Now we're scraping the bottom because how do any of us watch NXT 2.0 consistently?
No, I don't. I got to be honest.
Never
I really
seen
don't.
an episode.
Wow.
Won't do it.
And this guy's on a podcast.
Well, I can't do it. The guy, I almost think here's what happened. Triple H went out and got caught doing something he shouldn't have done, and Vince was like, "You know what? She's still my daughter, and I'm still in charge."
What was
and
that?
And ripped it off from him.
What was that?
I really think that's what happened. It doesn't make sense.
What did he get caught doing?
Adultery, breaking a commandment. That's what I'm saying. They ripped it from him. They ripped the entire legacy that he created for years just from him in about 3 months.
Where are you getting
I'm
this
just
information?
saying, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. How can you just walk in one day and say, "Hey, Hunter, everything you done, terrible, get out"? Yeah, and they can blame the heart attack and say he was sick.
And it wasn't terrible. It was
great. That's what I'm saying. They can blame the heart attack and say, "Oh, he wasn't healthy." They did it before he had the heart attack, and they used that as a way to scapegoat themselves out of being assholes. I'm just going to say it. To me, it just doesn't add up. The timeline doesn't add up at all.
Mr. Curtis, I got to get your thoughts on that.
Well, Vince McMahon is the end all be all as far as that. But since he's given so much power to Nick Khan,
Yep.
no relation to Tony, of course, given so much power to Nick Khan, he's been making all these these decisions. Now they pretty much got rid of everybody out of NXT except for Shawn Michaels. Whether that's just a thank you for what you did for us for 30 years and breaking your back and everything else and losing your smile and coming back and whatever you did and getting paid for 4 years not working,
Right.
which happened as well. But I mean, now Bruce Pritchard's running it, and on top of having the podcast and everything, I mean, it's not that I don't think Bruce Pritchard is good at some of the jobs he does, but as far as running a brand, no.
That's the problem in wrestling. Sometimes you get wrestling guys too much in the business side, and you get the business guys too much on the wrestling
Like
side.
Mr. Curtis said, ego builds the business, but it also kills it too.
It also destroys it. I'm going to take that away from this interview.
Oh,
builds it, but
hey,
destroys
Renee,
it.
before we move on to the trivia challenge or whatever we're doing with the game show, one of the fans sent this in to me. They said you recorded a song.
We've got it together, baby.
Is this you? This isn't you?
No one's singing.
My first, my last, my everything. Yeah, this isn't you.
You're going to get us copyright infringements.
Was that you?
Gotta relax. No, it's not me.
YouTube will flag you and whoever
I'll
else.
Figure this out.
30 seconds
I'll
of
figure
bumper.
this out.
Just remember that.
Well, we have to we owe it to our sponsors to figure out what the hell's going on with my microphone. But did you think I was going to cop out and say, hey, bro, my mic sucks, I'm out of here? No way, bro. 2 hours, 27 minutes, and we still got the game show challenge. Test me, fam.
Oh, by the way,
durability's my only claim. I never said I was talented. I just said I was consistent. That's my claim to fame, man. I'm there every single show. Ask Mr. Curtis. He can probably count on his hands in the years that I've been working for XW how many times I haven't been at a show. He can probably, on one hand, not even.
Show up to every one of their games, too.
Some of them do.
I'm not a Brown fan.
Some of them do.
Yeah, well, the dog pound.
Maybe Nick Chubb does.
Sorry, Jeremy.
Maybe Nick Chubb does when he doesn't get hurt, but
that's a good point. Hey, luckily it's after the Maestro's bedtime, and he's probably not watching right now.
Oh, he's writing an article.
He is right now, and it's a defamation article on you. Well, you know what, guys? We do have to start moving towards the end of this show, and we have to wrap it up properly. So before we get into the game show challenge, allow me once again to remind you guys of all of our wonderful sponsors, starting with Everything Combat, Kincaid Arcade, Esports Bar KC, I-70 Sports Media, Royal Mills Transportation, Painter's Dream Production, Rathbun Engraving, Me Fiesta Rentals, Novaman's Barber Lounge. Don't forget to ask for Pete the Barber. And, of course, the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion, the Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter. Much love and appreciation to all our amazing sponsors. Guys, all we ask is that you check them out, give them a like, and tell them that the Wrestle Talk podcast sent you. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time.
Before you go any further,
of course.
Not to pat ourselves on the back, but I think that Renee, especially you spearheading this, have done such a great job with our sponsors, because so many times people throw their money away to a podcast, to a show, to be featured, to be advertised, and the show does nothing with it. And I think it's great that you're always keeping up to date with our sponsors on the Facebook page. You're posting what they're doing, because our sponsors are really doing great work in the business fields. And I really kudos to you for making sure that our listeners know about it.
Absolutely. And you know what we take pride in the most, Mr. Douglas, is that all these businesses are independently owned, okay? and they're run by families. These are family businesses, not these big corporations. They're biting up all the real estate, driving up the housing up, making it hard for good, hardworking, blue-collar people such as myself to find a beautiful home. They're just buying it, and it's just another investment. It's a Bitcoin to them, and it's quite sad. So all of the companies that support the Wrestle Talk podcast are locally owned, they're family operated, and we take a lot of pride in that. And if you want to be a sponsor, just shoot us an email, wrestletalkpodcast@gmail.com, for more information on rates and things of the sort. Now, with all that said, you already know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get down. It's time to get a little competitive. And Mr. Curtis, I want you to pay extra close attention, because tonight you will be going one-on-one with the self-proclaimed most intelligent man on the planet. At least we overheard him talking to himself in the hallway, and apparently Richard Douglas thinks he's the smartest man alive. So, a little bit of trivia, Mr. Curtis. Are you game?
Let's do it.
Yeah, baby, I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and a pleasure to bring you guys in, introduce you to episode 380's edition of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. In a matter of moments, I'm going to be introducing some professional wrestling trivia. You gentlemen will have an opportunity to shout out your answer as I provide you various clues. Again, you will shout out your answer, and you will not wait for me to finish if you believe you know that answer. There is no limit to how many times you can answer. Basically, it's the quickest to the draw. And we are from the good old Midwest, and who knows more about a quick draw than the good old Midwest, right, gentlemen? Right?
That's fair.
And
right.
If I was a 70s
ahead,
television producer, I would have hired you on the spot for that cheesy drawl, Jesse Jackson. I mean, we might as well have freaking called Clint Eastwood. Continue.
Okay, listen, somebody called me a paper boy last week. Somebody said I look like a paper boy last week.
Oh, now that's awful.
Come on, man. You can't get any lower than that.
Was it?
Nothing you can say to me is nothing worse than Castro has already done. Okay, Chico? Thought you to tell him you was in sanitation. Okay, anyway. Let's go ahead and get going, gentlemen. Tonight's trivia challenge, my friends. Okay, here we go. Tonight's contestants are the Wrestle Talk Podcast's very own, the philanthropist, Richard Douglas, and the illustrious Curtis Duncan. In a few moments, gentlemen, I'm going to ask you 3 questions about a particular professional wrestling topic. Whenever you think you know the answer, again, just shout it out. Tonight's podcast game show challenge category is the name game. I will give names of 3 professional wrestlers. When you think you know who I'm talking about, shout out your answer. The first person to score 2 out of 3 falls will win tonight's contest. Do you gentlemen understand the rules?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into it then. Question number 1. The Canadian Rage, the instant classic, Captain Charisma.
Christian.
Gentlemen, who am I talking about? Christian is correct. Christian is correct, Mr. Curtis. You are already up 1-0 against Mr. Richard Douglas, the City on the Hill. Question number 2. The Pale Destroyer, the Lord of Darkness.
The Undertaker.
The Undertaker is correct. We are officially tied.
Patronize me.
1-1. I'm just trying to keep the fans up to speed, Mr. Douglas. Let me do my job. Question number 3. Be ready with the quick draw. The Path of Rage, the Orange and Black Attack,
Taz.
Taz is correct, ladies and gentlemen. We officially have a winner.
It should have been for which son was in a strip club.
Whoa. Don't you blaspheme against Hook on this podcast.
Oh my God.
Don't you do it.
He's a C-lister Abercrombie and Fitch model. Okay? Let's just be real. If my dad was...
Bro, have you ever heard of Action Brunson in your life?
Who?
Do you know who that is?
Hopefully he's better than Hook.
Oh my gosh. I wish I could come through the screen right now. Mr. Curtis, last pro wrestling question. You get to start a promotion today. What one professional wrestler in the world today do you sign first?
That's a tough one. I go with Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson. I mean, he can.
You play, in my opinion, you're taking the AEW playbook. When they signed Jericho, you knew it was going to be something big. You take the vet who you know can control that locker room and set the standard for what excellence is. I don't blame you for that. Same question for you, Richard. Give you a little time to think about it.
Myself.
Please don't say yourself, bro. Please,
myself.
Oh my gosh! Oh my...
Listen, when you have
sick of this guy, I can't deal with this anymore.
All right, here we go.
Jesus.
Baby aspirin time. If you look at all these has-beens that you could hire, why would you hire somebody that's already done it? They already sold the shirts that they're going to sell. It's time to move on down the road, or it's time to old yellow road. It's time to hire new faces that change and drive industry, and that's what we're doing. I mean, that's to me, that's a smart business decision, Renee. Hello, Renee.
You know, at least tonight I got to be Barry White. That's my takeaway. You have officially driven me off the deep end, Dick. I'm just, Mr. Curtis. Thank you for being a class act, a gentleman, a person that we can all look to and aspire to be.
Is Renee being a little baby? Yeah,
you true? Let me finish. You truly exemplify what it is to be a leader in business and in the locker room. The fans respect you. The guys in the locker room respect you. Other promoters respect you. The media respects you. And your commentary team, at least one half of us, respects the hell out of you, Mr. Curtis, because you're always there. And really, ain't nobody killing the suit game. Like, you are on another level with the suit game. I know Kit Reaver does some pretty cool stuff when he comes out. The Rebel Heart's got the crazy energy. But you, sir, are on a whole nother level. Thank you. I tip my cap to you. Thank you for being here on the show tonight. And I look forward to seeing you because we got a hell of a show coming up, right?
Yes, sir. We do. And thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast. And, you know, hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Whenever you fire,
we ready to do work.
Whenever you fire Renee, let me know. I normally am in the ring wrestling, but just to be a part of the XWE would be a great thing, and I could carry the empty shoes Renee left at any time.
KWA is the land of opportunity, man. It's the land of opportunity. Maybe not Renee's spot, but
you never know.
Who knows?
That's right. You better respect my civil rights. We got contracts in place. All I know is this, gentlemen. It was my pleasure to be in the room with two guys as talented as you guys. You wear a suit better than anybody I've seen. Both of you, it's like a competition. As a matter of fact, I'd almost like to see like a Twitter beef about who can come out looking more fresh when they make appearances. Because, Mr. Douglas, I don't think you've spent less than $3,000 on a suit since you had your baptism.
No, I would like to point out, for starters here, just because of the transparency with financial election laws, we do not need to spend any campaign donations for wardrobe. We were able to use that from our sustainability platform with the cityonthehill.com/shop. But Renee, Twitter beefs are meant to, in my opinion, drive industry and to create change. And I know Mr. Curtis could probably feel the same way I do. Let's Twitter beef for something that could cause positive reaction to everyone in professional wrestling, not just give us our shits and giggles for the night, huh?
Yeah, not suits, and I've got 7 that are still sitting in a boat somewhere on the Pacific Ocean because the embargo. So
Yeah. Terrible. Just terrible.
And I'm just over here trying to get my credit score up. So I'm just.
Hey, did you get any
whatever.
pictures of Spider-Man? Sunny Money was asking me. He said that you took a job at the Daily Planet, getting pictures of
No.
Spider-Man with your hat. Mr. Newspaper reporter.
Oh, you're going to call that the damn paper boy. Okay, you know what?
you got to
ladies and
remember,
gentlemen?
Spider-Man delivered pizzas too. So
That's true. That's true.
I'm more like Kino.
Oh, there you go.
Ninja Turtles. That's more me. Delivering pizzas. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the conclusion of episode 380 of the Wrestle Talk podcast. Mr. Curtis, thank you for being here. 2 bits of business before you go. Number 1, welcome in as the newest member of the Wrestle Talk family. And number 2, man, drop the info on the upcoming show because I know folks are not going to want to miss it. Mr. Curtis?
yes,
The show, info.
Yep. I don't see it. Where's the info at?
No, your upcoming show. Yes, of course.
My apologies.
It's been a long
It
night.
has been. Heartbreak Brawl, because hotel's copywritten. February 26th, Salina Fieldhouse. Be there.
That'll be awesome.
There it is. Mr. Douglas, final thoughts.
Just a great show. A lot of great personalities, and Mr. Curtis, to have you on to talk about a great promotion and the legacy that you're carrying on and going to continue to drive and spearhead for years to come. Great to have you on. Great insights, and no better way to kick off the I guess news cycle for Wrestle Talk podcast in the month of February with Renee and I started off on February 1st tonight. No better way to kick off the month than having the great guests that we've had. Thank you, Mr. Curtis.
Yeah, thanks again, Mr. Curtis. Have a
Thank
good night.
You too.
Take it easy. Peace. Boom, baby.
We did it.
That's it. That's a wrap. Dude, what the hell with this audio?
It's so funny. It was a big cluster in my mind because I thought, is this how we normally sound?
No. I wish.
And hey, listen, I had fun with it. We kept going. The show must go on, and we did it and did it in stride. So yeah, one last bit of business of www.cityonthehill.org/shop. Get your Dick Douglas campaign merchandise for 2022 and Valadix Games November 2022. You will be able to play as Dick Douglas.
Wow. So what do you expect your rating to be?
Well, I know what my rating should be, but it depends on the critique and whatever interest group's doing the rating. I assume it's an 85 or a 90. I think that's fair. I think 90's on the low.
It's on the old low speed.
What are you laughing about?
Okay. I got the paperboy thing. You guys are killing me over here too, bro. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I am the Night Owl. He's the Dick Douglas. City on the Hill. Get your merch. Do what you do. We gonna keep it real. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we're gonna try to get this sorted out, man, because we do it for y'all, the Wrestle Talk podcast family. Everybody have a good night. Peace.